kids, right? You have one kid?
I got three big head little boys, man.
Oh, three little boys?
Three little boys. My three sons, you know what I mean?
Rory, what are their ages?
11, about to be 11, about to be 2, and then I got a 2-month-old. I got a newborn.
Oh, so I have 10, 8, and 8.
Damn. 8 and 8.
I had twins.
What wow. How, how did that happen? How did that happen?
You know what
How
it
you
is?
shoot that out?
They said that my wife was over 30. My wife, she was 43, and the doctor said, or someone told us, I can't remember who, but women over 35 have a tendency to start dropping multiple eggs. I'm guessing it's some evolutionary thing. It's like, yo, you waited too long to have babies. Now we're gonna start giving to you in pairs.
Now we're gonna send you to the block of pain and suffering, huh?
Yeah, so too. Well,
Damn.
congratulations. 3 boys is amazing. I mean, mine are 3 boys too, and that's why I'm in heaven. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
man.
like waking up every morning and I just can't wait to look at them. It's awesome.
It's a blessing, man. It's an acquired. People. I always tell people, man, when you have kids, you either acquire a great deal of patience or you lose a shit ton of patience. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
What did you acquire? Did you acquire it or lose it? Or
Fucking
both?
both. It depends
Yeah.
on the day. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, man, like you feel me? Like I look at it like, there's so many people in the world that can't have kids, you know?
Yeah.
And like I guess the man above said, we're gonna give you 3 boys. Let me tell you, growing up, I always told myself I was gonna have 5 girls. I
Wow.
wanted 5 girls.
There's still time.
Ain't no time. Ain't no damn time for that. Shit.
You know what's the trip about parenting is you the worst part about it is that you remember all the fuck ups. And you
Hmm.
don't remember all the successes, right? Like this morning I was thinking of some shit that I may have said to my son that I was like, God, I wish I wouldn't have said that to him or planted that seed in his head. But I don't
Yeah.
remember all, and it was not, I can't remember. It was around like he got off the tennis court and I said, talk some shit to him.
Hmm.
And I was like, that probably wasn't bebeneficial, but you don't
Yeah.
remember all the good shit.
Yeah.
It's intense. Parenting's intense.
Hmm. Yeah. Wait, are we live?
Yeah, we are.
Oh, you usually be like, we live, we live, we live. I was waiting for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're live.
My 11-year-old, well, he's about to be 11. His name is Ethan. He's on the
What's his
spectrum.
name?
Ethan?
Ethan. And what'd you say? He's gay?
No, he's on the spectrum.
Oh. I thought you said he's homosexual. I was like, wow, how would you know already? Oh, okay.
Well, I think in this day and age, if you know. You know what I'm
Yeah. Right. Good point.
saying? No, he's on the spectrum, man. So
And what does that mean? Because everyone says that now, Rory. What does that mean?
well, back in the day, it used to be, you had Asperger's, right?
Yeah.
And so now, well, over time, not now, but I don't know what year they changed it and shit, but over time, it's just kids are on a spectrum, so you can either be severe autistic, mild, or low. And surprisingly, there is a statistic out there that shows that I think like 88% of Silicon Valley people that work in Silicon Valley are on the autism spectrum, which is interesting. Um,
Roughly, what is autism? I'm just totally making this up. Does it mean like you're not in touch with your emotions, or you're over in touch with your emotions, or like you have a different process, or like what's like the big? Like I just look at Hiller or Colton shit, and I'm like, yep, something's up. You
it's
know
a
what I mean?
social,
Something's up.
it, it's a social behavioral thing. It doesn't make them less of a person, or it's just their thinking is different, and
Is there any way I can put them in a bucket, like how it's different? Like, do they have a faster processor? Do they make more connections than us, less
yes,
connections than us? Like, because I mean, all the people I know who are on the spectrum, like, there's no dummies. Everyone's like, you're like, are they cheating?
yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Now
seem a little more like a computer than like they got more processing power.
they all, from what I've seen, my experience and what I've seen with my child, especially at school, they all have their own superpower, right? It's like they all are their own Marvel superhero, and each one of them has a unique, uh, unique design to him. Like my son is into language, right? He loves the alphabet, but he loves different cultures, different languages, alphabets. So my son can literally write the whole alphabet in German, Japanese,
Oh wow.
Mandarin, Hebrew, Coptic. Like I didn't even know what the fuck Coptic was.
Yeah,
You
I
know
don't
what
know
I'm
what it is
saying?
either. Yeah.
It's like a Egyptian
That's when they wrote on
Sanskrit.
rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So my son is into language. That's his big thing, language. And music notes. He loves music, the language of music. So
So what do you
it's
do?
just
You just lean into that and feed that? You're just like, "Yep, that's his thing," and then you just, like,
yeah,
let him run with that passion.
you have to.
Yeah.
Just like it's no different than, if your child was into basketball, right? And that's their passion, and you want to fill them with that and try to help support them. So whatever he's into, I'm into, man. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But then I guess I don't want to say the downside, but the kickback from that is there's things socially he just doesn't grasp, right? Like he doesn't understand how to put shampoo in his hair, right? He doesn't understand how to, tie his shoe. So it's just little things, but man, he's a beautiful soul, man. I don't know where I would be without my oldest, man. Um, for a
Well,
long time, I have two other kids now, right? So, but for a long time, I didn't. Number one, I never thought I would have more children, and I didn't believe that I deserved to be a father, because of the shit that I was doing, to myself. So I'm blessed, man.
I, you know, I worked in a home for disabled adults for 5 years. I was basically there 24 hours a day. I parked my trailer on the driveway, and I basically lived there, and I was always there. And I remember the most difficult thing, and these people were, I think, much more severe than the situation your son's in. But I
Hmm.
remember the most difficult thing for them to handle was their internal struggle that they wanted to have intimacy with other people, but they knew they were different and they couldn't get that like romantic intimacy. You know what I mean? They weren't in that. And I remember when I had kids, I was thinking, "Oh, I just need to make my kids good mates, right? They need to be able
Hmm.
to dance, be patient, and fight, and then they
Right,
can get girls, right?"
right,
And or play music or something, right? That would be it.
right.
Those would be the things. And I never thought of it like this, but when I hear about your son, that's the first place I go to. Will he be able to have a relationship when he gets older, like with the girl? Like, will he build enough skills and social skills to have intimacy to connect with a woman?
I mean, that is I don't want to say a worry, but there's a lot of things that cross my mind, about his future. That
Yeah,
is
I
one
mean,
of
because that's
them.
kind of the best thing in life, right? Having just
Yeah.
like like or one of the best things. I mean, besides like having some sort of spiritual enlightenment. I mean,
Hmm.
sharing your life with a woman is
Yeah.
fucking
I,
gold standard.
I think with Ethan, I think with him, he that's why you got to catch it early to
Yeah.
help them process. He was diagnosed when he was 3.
Mhm.
And so there's other people out there walking among us, adults that are on the spectrum that unfortunately they weren't able to catch it early, right?
Mhm.
And so they're walking around and they're having a lot of issues, a lot of struggles with that. I think Ethan, from what I see right now, I think he's going to be okay, but I don't think that he'll be able to like live on his own, right?
Yeah.
He'll have to
Yeah.
have supplemental health. I mean, health, excuse me, supplemental help come in
Mm.
and help him cook, help him, fucking go get groceries, things like that. But
Yeah.
I see that in his future, man. But that's, my biggest worry for him is like law enforcement, like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
running into an issue. So like a lot of kids that are on the spectrum, man, they have what's called a STEMI. Have you ever seen The Accountant? You ever seen that movie with Ben
No, but
Affleck?
I worked in like, I lived with these people. I've seen the stemming, and, like, even my homeboy Dave our homeboy Dave Castro, I see him stem.
Really?
Yeah, he does this eyebrow thing, he does a hair thing. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah. I when you're around it, you start seeing people who you know what I mean? You
yeah,
start to see
yeah.
the rocking, like, yeah, and I know what you mean. I've been in situations where I was with my guys in a store, and someone gets stuck in front of a cooler, You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like the door
Mhm.
opens and closes wrong, and
Mm.
he's like, "Oh
Mhm.
shit, that's not working for me."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and many times I'd say once a month I would have a police encounter with the guys because they're doing something that the police were 99% always cool, but they were
Yeah.
doing something in 7-Eleven that like someone freaked out about.
My son, he carries around these like foam lines. I don't even know how to describe them, man. But like, there's these foam lines he carries around him. He makes shapes out of them. He just gets in his own world. This what
Yeah.
calms him down. My biggest fear is that he'll be when he gets older. He has some type of interaction with police, and he pulls that out. And they
Oh,
think it's,
yeah,
so. But that's just being a worry as a parent, man.
yeah,
I mean, you're a parent, man. Like,
yeah,
you worry about your kids. You're always gonna worry, no matter how old they get. You feel me? But his future, like when he was first diagnosed, I was fucking freaking out. Like, what is he gonna be? Is he gonna get bullied? And then you start seeing all the shit on the internet with, kids on the spectrum getting bullied and beat up, and I mean, it was a whirlwind emotionally when he was first diagnosed. I didn't know what to think, how to handle it, and because I remember, man, being in like middle school and high school, man, and the kids in special ed, they always got picked on. At lunchtime, the kids in special ed, they always had those kids go out and pick up trash and shit, and I was like,
yeah,
is that gonna be my son? You feel me?
yeah,
Like, is
yeah,
is life gonna treat him like he's a dud? You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, so, but he's a
Rory,
good man.
Rory, there's this I live just down from the beach and there's this walking path I go on and I haven't
Mhm.
seen him in a long time. But for a long time, every time I went down there was this kid down there. And when I say kid, he was probably like 17 and he
Mhm.
had this bucket and with this fluid he made in it. And he had these 2 sticks and he had a sign that said, "Please don't stand near me." And he
Really?
would put the sticks in the bucket and pull it out, and he would have because he would have a huge crowd around him always, and he makes giant bubbles, like crazy bubbles. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like just the
Yeah.
and so everyone's staring, right? And then he's got a little bucket for like you can throw money into.
Mm.
And one day, and I always would go there and be like, "Who is with this motherfucker? Like, who is like? There's got to be someone here with him, right?"
Right.
And one day I talked to his dad, and this kid had severe autism, but that's what he did. He made loot, but the bubble thing was crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would get your son into bubbles. I was just thinking about that. I
Oh,
was
he
like,
he
shit.
fucking loves bubbles. You put
Yeah,
him in. We have a little bubble machine, and he'll stand in front of that thing all day. You know
yeah.
what I'm
Who
saying?
doesn't? That's the crazy thing. Everyone loves bubbles, but this kid would make bubbles that you were like, oh, I need to learn how to do that. Bubbles and bubbles and bubbles and bubbles that like if they hit you, you need to shout. You need a towel.
I'll tell you this: the thing that I envy my son. I envy kids. Period, man. Because like, uh, kids, like as adults, we want to be in the present like kids, man. Like my son, he's so in the present. It doesn't matter if he has a rock in his hand. You feel me? He is the happiest kid alive. Like if he has that rock and he's playing with it, he knows how to just make what he has. And like as an adult, I'd be like, damn, man, like I wish, we get so, caught up in our future and bills and issues and drama in the past, we forget to be in the present. And Ethan always reminds me of how to like take a step back, stop, just appreciate like what's in front of me.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what I get the most out of him.
How old are you?
I'll be 42 in October, man. You know what I mean? Black don't crack. I know
Yeah, I
I
was gonna
look. I
say
know I
you.
look young.
Yeah, you look young. I saw you. So I remember calling Dave and um saying, "Hey, can I come to the ranch? I want to run some internet tests there because I want to do some live streams from there, and I know they've had internet issues." And he goes, "Yeah, it's gonna be a crazy day." And he goes, "Don't wander around my place because I'm preparing for the games." I said, "Okay." And he goes, "And there's crazy shit going on." And I said, "Okay." I go, "Like what?" He goes, "I'm having a shooting competition." And then he said, "And then some black dude's coming and doing a memorial for his mom." I said, "Some black dude's coming to do a memorial for his mom." You know those Mexicans, racist fucks. Everyone by
That's
the
what he.
color of their
That.
skin.
That's what he said.
Yeah, some black dude's coming to do a memorial for his mom. I said, "Okay." And I said, "Do I know him?" And he goes, "Maybe." And he goes, "He's done it here before. He's cool. You'll like him." I said, "Okay."
Mm-hmm.
So then I go there. So I know it's like something intense, right? Like I know your mom passed, and I know we were in the same. Dave was gone, playing Cowboys and Indians with his friends, and then me and your posse and my crew were in the barn area,
Yeah.
and we were doing the internet test, and you guys were doing your event. Um, you've been, and then I read that article. This article is crazy, dude. Brittany Saling did it. Did you like that article? I thought she killed it.
Yeah, she did a wonderful job, man. Brittany's awesome, man. Shout out to Brittany. Taking that time. We took like fucking 4 or 5 days, I want to say, going through my life, and for her to the way she put it all and compressed it, man, it was written beautifully. So I appreciate her.
Yeah, this thing's crazy. How Rory Edwards quit cocaine and became a CrossFit coach. Um, May 31st, 2023. Yeah, crazy story.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot more to it, but that's the sum of it, man. Shout out to Dave Castro. Shout out to Pat Barber for put that through, man, because he was the one that made the connection with Brittany and everything. When I went to get my L1, I had a conversation with him after it was all said and done, and we exchanged, and he was like, "Man, I'll help you." So, um, yeah, shout out to him, man. Yeah, that's my life. That's a small snippet of my life. Excuse me. But
And you were born and raised in the Bay Area?
yeah, I was born and raised in West Oakland. Moved to Lake Merritt, and then I moved to Richmond later on, but originally started out in West Oakland. My,
And for people who don't know, I lived a lot of my life in Berkeley, California, and to the south is Oakland, and to the north is Richmond. And
Mhm,
there were alternating years that these were like murder capitals of the United States. I mean, I know they were competing with other cities like DC and Baltimore, but like you would always see it in the newspapers. For people who don't know, it's
mhm,
like, oh, this year Oakland has more murders per capita. Oh, and the next year it's Richmond. They are and I used to ride my bike in Oakland a lot, and on the daily, if I was riding my bike through a neighborhood, someone would be like, I would hear people just yell from their house, "Cops, cops!" Like anytime I was on my bike, and people just assume if you're on a bike in that neighborhood,
yeah.
you're a cop.
What did
Um,
you go to? Did you go to Berkeley High?
no, I went to school in the East Bay. My parents were
Okay.
divorced, and when I was 16, my mom kicked me out, so I went and lived with my dad.
Mhm,
And my dad had just gotten this apartment building that was full of like crackheads, and it was crazy scene, and
mhm.
right down by San Pablo and
Oh,
University.
okay.
And so I just he's like, hey, you can stay in one of these apartments.
Okay.
So I was
Oh,
down there 16, 17, 18 until like my early 20s.
wow. So
And and
yeah.
then and I was born in Oakland Children's Hospital. So that whole area, and
Oh, okay.
I grew up in El Cerrito. All the cities that didn't have the shootings, I was in. I was
Oh, okay.
I was in the different.
So you were right, pretty much like in North Oakland. That's where you were.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I just want to go back a little bit before you were born. How did your family end up there? Were they railroad people?
Yeah, so my great grandfather came from Louisiana during World War II, and long crazy.
Black dude?
Hmm. Yeah, so my mother's side, my mom's black, my dad's white, um, or Caucasian, if that's politically correct. Excuse
But
all your
you can
listeners.
call him a cracker on here, bro. But
My great grandfather came from Louisiana. Came out, back then, a lot of blacks came from the South, to the West Coast, migrated here to for work, and so he
was he
left.
doing railroad though? Because
No,
oh,
he
okay.
was he was actually I don't know what his job specifically was when he first moved, but what he ended up doing, he was good at ironing. And so he would iron all these like lieutenants and sergeants, he would iron their suits, right? And so he stayed in this one bedroom apartment, and he shared it with like 10 people. And so they would take turns sleeping in the bed. Like they all worked at the docks. And so what he did was he got good in with like all the higher ups in the military, and he would iron these suits. Well, what ended up happening was he got so good at it, he started his own cleaning business, and he bought that same building that that they lived in. It was called Adeline Cleaners in West Oakland on 7th Street. And then he bought the building next door, which was a laundromat. It was right across the street from Acorn Projects in West Oakland. And then, he just became fruitful, man, and got into real estate, and, then he sent for like my grandmother and my great aunts and uncles. Then they came out from Louisiana to Oakland. And then my grandmother and my grandfather, my grandfather came on the train as well. He actually came to Oakland with a 3rd grade education, man. And when he got here, they gave him, he didn't know how to write. And so they were like, "What's your last name?" He said, "I don't know." So they just gave him a random last name.
Oh shit! And it was
Yeah.
Edwards.
No, it was McKinley.
Oh, okay.
So Edwards is my father's side, obviously.
Oh,
My
right.
father's
Okay.
white. Yeah, my father's side is from Colorado and Kansas and Missouri. And FYI, my dad just passed away this year, man, on April 1st. So
What did he pass away from?
well, he was an alcoholic, and he was drinking pretty heavily. But when I went out to Colorado back in April to like clean up his house and stuff, I found some medicine bottles linked to Parkinson's.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't have the autopsy report. I haven't, sought out to read it or get it yet, but it definitely has something to do with his Parkinson's and probably alcoholism as well. So,
Okay.
yeah. But long story short, man, my mom met my dad. They worked at this bank together, and here I came.
Where was the bank?
It was over actually by the Oakland Airport. It used to be called Union Bank.
Yeah.
And
The
so
reason
that's
why I
where they
ask
met.
is because I know, because I grew up there, so I have a little more interest in like where they are because I can kind of visualize it and shit. Like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? I'm familiar with the area. And
Yeah.
they meet, and then they have you.
And they have me.
And
This
how
mixed
many
kid
and how many siblings?
with my mother and father. I'm his only child. And then my
Oh, okay.
father, then my mother met my stepfather, and they have my sister. So I have a half sister.
And do you have a relationship with her?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and so you just grow up in West Oakland. And what's life like growing up for you? Like, what elementary school do you go to?
Well, first I went to this school in Berkeley called St. Joseph's,
Okay.
and that shit sucked. And
Where's that in
it
Berkeley?
was, uh,
You remember?
if you go down, I want to say if you go down Martin Luther King, you know where Berkeley High is?
Yeah.
Well, when you get to Berkeley High, if you make a left, you go all the way down. It's in that area. It's called
Okay.
It was called St. Joseph's. It's not. It's still there, but it's not. It's not called St. Joseph's anymore. But
Okay.
I went there from kindergarten to 4th grade, and it was horrible, man. It was the worst experience of my life.
And why is that?
I got picked on a lot. I got picked on a lot by a lot of the Hispanic kids and other kids. And I wasn't smart. I wasn't good in school. And actually, the nuns who were teachers, they're pretty emotionally abusive. You know, I got stories, man. But back
What
then,
can you tell me something like what was it like to get picked on? Like, give me an example of what it's like to get picked on.
from from the kids or like from the teacher.
But both.
So I'll give you one small story. I remember, I was never good at math. And so when I was in 2nd grade, my teacher told my mom, I needed to come in and do some extra work because I was falling behind. And I remember I used to go to this lady. Her name was Sister Denise, and I would go to this lady early in the morning, and I wasn't good at doing subtraction. So she would have this like big old fucking can of raw beans, and we would learn how to subtract. Well, I still didn't understand the fundamentals of subtracting. Like I just couldn't get it. And man, she would take my hand and slam it on the desk, and she would just scream at me, "You stupid! Are you stupid? Are you fucking
Oh,
stupid?"
jeez.
Yeah, it was bad, man. And as a kid, I didn't know like how to process
Like
that, and
that
I
was
didn't
gonna
even
help somehow. Like that was gonna expedite your learning process.
yeah, like, and I didn't know how to tell my mom because I thought that was normal. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Like, just that's just, and I never told my mom, but I used to be in tears, man, in
yeah,
tears. And another example, I remember we had like these reading assignments. We had to go through these little workbooks, and the teacher said, hey, this Friday we're gonna do a fucking ice cream party. You got to have this done. If you don't, you don't get any ice cream. Well, I was already falling behind, and I remember I was the only kid in the class that hadn't finished all the assignments.
yeah,
And all these kids are eating ice cream, man. And I'm sitting there at the desk, and I'm just sitting at my desk doing the workbook. The teacher had me do the workbook. And I remember kids just coming with their ice cream saying, "You want some?" Just like teasing me. And I remember my mom, I did tell her about that situation. And right after, she ended up taking me to Fenton's in Piedmont. I don't know if you remember, ever been
yeah,
to Fenton's.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. That place is
yeah,
awesome, dude.
yeah. But that's back then, man.
Yeah,
And there was no trophies for participation and shit like that. I mean, it was pretty hardcore. But after fourth grade, I was only there because I think my mom had some type of like not scholarship, but there was some type of I don't know how they worked it, but we weren't paying full tuition for me to go there. So I ended up going in fifth grade. I went to Lakeview Elementary, which is across the street from Grand Lake Theater, right,
mm-hmm,
Lake Merritt.
mm-hmm.
And so that going from a private school, which was like mostly white, Hispanic, Asian, and then going to Lakeview was all black. Maybe a couple of Hispanics, maybe no white. Um, and so when I got there, it was just like all these kids. This was the early '90s, man. So like kids had fades and
Yeah,
earrings and
yeah,
jerseys. And I was like, man, what is this? You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. NWA is just everywhere.
Man, Snoop,
The music, yeah, yeah,
and that's when I got into hip hop really, really tough, man. I got a lot of stories about that, but it was a total social shift. You
yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Too Short was pretty much like the
Oh yeah,
guy in Oakland.
yeah.
Yeah.
hmm
Did you see him around?
I've seen him a couple times. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Seen him a couple times. Um, so that was just a social shift, man. And some
Oh,
of
and
my
you were playing some E40 at when you guys
at
were
the
working
ranch.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. And yeah, I don't hear too much E40 unless people are from the yeah, okay. Now I'm
Yeah.
thinking,
You
okay.
you feel me? But yeah, man, it was just a social shift for me, man. And like, then I started learning the lingo. And then I remember, I told my mom because my mom used to always brush my hair backwards.
Mhm.
And I said, I don't want to brush my hair backwards no more. Like I want to get a fade. You know what I'm saying? So we went to a black barber shop and I got my first fade, man. I was the happiest kid alive, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because for me, it was like, especially being biracial at that time, it wasn't common in where I grew up,
Right,
you know.
right, right.
So I just didn't know who I was, you know what I mean? Like black kids in West Oakland, they always call me white boy. When I go to when I was going to the private school, they'd always call me Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was, man. So for a long time, man, I had a serious identity crisis, as you could say.
You know
And
what's interesting is, I remember being in school, there was, like, 2 black kids in my elementary school, but I remember at a young age starting to hear from some of my white friends how lucky I was because 'cause I'm Armenian, both my mom and my dad were Armenian. They're like, "You know who you are. We don't know
hmm
what we are." And that
hmm
I never understood that because I just took it for granted, right? I never
right.
understand if someone didn't know who they were culturally, what that what the implications were. But it's
hmm
interesting to hear it from you too. Like, I guess that's something that kids want or gravitate to as part of like a kind of a simple holding for the identity. And like you were like, fuck, someone like you were looking for a label.
Right. Yeah, I was looking to find a home.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah,
And my father being white, like I didn't know anybody on my father's side because, like I said, all my family on his side is from Colorado and Kansas. So I didn't know anybody on my father's side, except his younger brother who lived in Alameda. And he's biracial too. So it's just a lot of mixed emotions growing up, man. I could honestly tell you, man, I hated the fact that I was half white. I
Oh, you
hated it.
did?
Yeah, I hated it because I hated being called white boy. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? And I just wanted to be black. I just wanted to be fully black. And so it was an interesting, um, I was an interesting experiment. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to call it.
Could you verbalize that? Did you know it like that? Did you know it? Or did you know that something was pissing you off and you didn't know what it was? Or did you know you're like, fuck, just want to be black, all
You
black?
know, I because like my cousins was all black, they would call me white boy sometimes. Um,
Did they know it got under your skin? Were they saying it affectionately or
yeah,
no? It was,
yeah.
oh,
No,
yeah.
it was to get under my skin.
Yeah.
Because I was just different. And I think, it bothered people, especially in West Oakland, man. At that time, being an all black neighborhood, and it was hood, it was very difficult, man, for me to get around and not be
And you
bullied.
stood out and you stood out.
Yeah.
You were like the
Yeah.
albino dude.
Yeah. With
You might as
brushed
well
hair
just been out.
backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's- yeah, it was frustrating to say the least. You know what I mean?
Uh,
But it was a good learning experience too. So that with all that said, all that shit started, with me people pleasing because I hated being different. So I wanted to make sure that, I wasn't different. So I was a follower. So if you liked it, I liked it. If you went here, I was gonna go there. You know what I mean? And
yep.
that's how I got in good. And I didn't really have an identity, to follow. So I followed somebody else's identity. You know,
And then where did you go to high school?
I went to Oakland Tech.
Okay.
Yeah, and I actually went to high school with Marshawn Lynch, football player.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah. So, and that was an experience too. You know,
Is is
all
is Oakland Tech over there? Is that by like the Orinda Oakland border? Is that where's
no,
Oakland? Oh, oh.
Oakland Tech is on Broadway. It's like
Okay.
going towards Claremont.
Yeah, on the
Um,
top of Broadway, right?
yep, yep.
Uh, yeah. There was I used to have this scooter, and I was always every couple months I'd be at the scooter shop that's over there, but like down like probably like a half a mile or a mile away towards Orinda. And the
Hmm.
shit that I would see happen in front of Oakland Tech anytime I went over there was crazy. Like if you were there like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you'd see like a fight out in the street, like guaranteed. Like, yo, you want to see a fight? 3 o'clock, Oakland Tech's getting out. They would
All the
just
time,
fight like just right on Broadway.
all the time,
It
just right
was
in the middle of the fucking street.
yeah,
When I
3 lanes of traffic stopped in each direction and kids out, just 200 kids out there.
when I was a freshman in high school, I'll never forget this, man. It was because there's a Burger King across the street, and
Yeah, yeah.
um, I remember going to lunch, and I was about to go to Burger King, and I seen all these kids running out. Somebody had got into it with somebody, and they had a shotgun, and everybody's just running out, and I'm just standing there like, oh shit. And I remember seeing a dude with a shotgun. He was about to kill somebody. You know, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. But
It's a funny name for that high school, Oakland Tech, because like you think it's gonna be just a bunch of computer dorks that come out of there, and it's like,
yeah,
holy shit.
what's crazy is actually that high school has changed. Like it's not even predominantly black. It's like more, and it's probably because of gentrification, but it's probably more white and Asian, and it's a little bit more uppity than what it used to be. You know
Yeah,
what I
well, I
mean?
mean, the Indians are just slowly like taking over. I mean, they're the only one. I mean, I don't know if you've seen, but it's like the average Indian family makes like twice as much as the average white family, and the average white family makes twice as much as the average black family. And it's like like the Indians and Asians are just with all the tech jobs and engineering
Yeah.
jobs, they're just fucking crushing the Bay Area.
Well, a lot of black people are getting pushed out of Oakland, and they moved to Pittsburgh and Antioch and
Yeah,
Sacramento.
yeah,
I mean, Oakland is not, what it is, what it used to be. And I tell people this all the time, man. Like, people get mad at the gentrification, and I'd be like, why? People aren't dying anymore.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Kids aren't getting shot. And you had enough time to get your shit together and you feel me, get your shit together and buy a business, or if you wanted to stay here. But nah, like a lot of people just wanted to do the same shit, you know what I
Mhm.
mean, and not get ahead in life. So that's what happens. You know what I mean?
Did you ever live in Antioch?
I did, I did.
Yeah, Antioch
Yeah,
was a scary place too. I remember in high school, or in junior college, we would go there to get our weed, and it was fucking crazy.
yeah. Antioch is it's I wasn't. I did not expect to see what I seen when I moved to Antioch. I moved to Antioch, because my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 myeloma, and my ex and I, this was back in 2018. My son's mother, Ethan's mother, she found out that I was doing cocaine, and so she kicked me out of the house, and so I went to move in with my mom in Antioch, and she that was 2 weeks before she passed. And when I moved to Antioch, bro, like I was like, wow, like, all these, there's a lot of nice homes. And Antioch isn't just a piece of shit place, but there's all these nice homes, but it's a lot of Section 8 out there. You know what I mean? And it's hood. I started seeing people I went to high school with living out there. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that it was hood, but yeah, Antioch is crazy. But that's where I went to Golden State CrossFit. Shout out to Chalk
In in
Sanchez
in Antioch.
in Antioch. Shout out to my coach Chalk. That's where I met my best friend, who owns that gym. That's where I started going when I moved out there.
Did you
But
play so when you were at Oakland Tech, did you play any sports?
yeah, I was a swimmer. I was
Oh,
swimming.
no shit.
Yeah,
Did
and
they have a pool there?
at Tech, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah, yeah, and that sport. So I
Were
I
there
was
other black dudes on the swim team?
uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah. And that sport, Savon, like I hated being good at that because I wanted to play football. Like I told
Yeah,
you, I
it's
didn't
not the
want to
cool
be.
sport.
Nah, it's not the cool sport. You know what I'm saying? I'm wearing a fucking. We call them dun dun duns. You know what dun 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 means?
No.
Dun 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 dun
Oh,
dun. Dun.
yeah, yeah,
So I'm wearing speedos, dun 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 duns.
yeah,
And it was just
yeah,
embarrassing, but I was so good at it. That was my
yeah,
sport. And my mom put me into swimming at a young age because she wanted me to learn how to adapt, in the rest of the world. She didn't
yeah,
want me to just play basketball, play football. She
yeah.
wanted me to do something different, but I hated it because like I said, I hated being different,
But you were good at it.
but I was good at it, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
And weren't there a lot
and
of girls in swimming? Like, that's a cool the girls who swim are cool, right?
yeah, it's a lot
Yeah,
of girls that swim. Yeah,
yeah. Okay, and you swim, how many years do you swim?
I swam competitively year round from the age of 9 till I was 17.
Holy shit, okay, and did that keep you out of trouble? Did you start drinking or doing any smoking weed in high school? No.
I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, none of that. You feel me? Like back then, like if you were drinking, when I was in high school, if you were drinking, well, a lot of people smoke weed, but if you were drinking or doing any other drugs, you were seen almost as if you were like a crackhead, you know?
Okay.
And so you were looked down upon. But I didn't do it anyways because it just wasn't my thing, and weed wasn't my thing anyways because I never liked the way it made me feel. I didn't like being able to control my own thoughts. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I
And
get
and
used to get paranoid as fuck.
yeah. Did you any introduction to the weight room during those swimming years?
Not when I was swimming. When I started playing football, that's when I started lifting weights.
And what year was that?
My junior year in high school. Yeah,
Okay.
my
So
my mom
you
finally let me play football.
so football and swimming.
hmm
And how is life at home then? Were things, smooth or
You know what, man? I don't have that kind of cliche, story. I was raised in a good home. My father, my stepfather had a big impact on my life. I was raised, with both parents. Even my real father, as messed up as our situation was, as messed up as our connection, he was still a part of my life. There was a lot of physical abuse with my real father and emotional abuse, but he was still there. So I can't say that my dad wasn't there. You know
Like
what I
just
mean?
hitting you and cracking you and beating you up and shit.
Yeah, my father almost killed me when I was a kid one time. Yeah.
How old were
Um,
you?
I had to be at least, I want to say I was like 7 years
Was he
old.
and was he drunk?
He, no, he wasn't drunk. I'll tell you what happened. My mom used to drop me off at his house in the morning. This was like during the summer. I wasn't in summer school or anything. And he would work nights at UPS. And so when she would drop me off around 6 or 7 in the morning, when she was on her way to work, he was still sleeping. So I remember she dropped me off and I would just watch TV or I would sneak and watch his porn tapes. You know what I'm saying? And I remember like I was playing with the toy and I had opened the window and I had dropped this toy out the window and I woke him up. I said, Dad, I just dropped my toy. And he said, What? And he just got hella mad. He said, Go get that shit. And I remember I ran down the stairs and I went to go grab the toy and I was just like panicking because I knew my dad. I knew when he was mad, it was scary, you know. And I remember I grabbed the toy, went back up the stairs, and he just knocked me out. and
Oh,
I and I fell into this. He had like this. He was good at collecting shit from the garbage, like he collecting furniture. And I fell into this high bar table he had in his apartment. And when I fell, I cracked my head. And I remember just waking up on the couch, and he had a cold towel on my face, and he was like, "Please, please." I could hear him praying and crying, and he thought he had killed me. And so I remember him telling me that he was like, please don't tell your mom. She'll never let me see you again, and this and this. And I just tell her that you fell. And that's what I did. I never told my mom what he really did. Still to this day, before she passed, I never told her that story.
holy shit.
Yeah. And that wasn't the first time. That was probably the worst, but that
Yeah.
wasn't the only, abuse that I went through with him.
Hey, was that the last time he hit you?
Mm,
No.
mm. He stopped punching me, and he slapped me a few times, but that was the last time he actually punched me, like
And
like that.
his dad probably did that to him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There was a lot of abuse from his father, And just FYI, as I'm talking about this, I've
Yeah.
learned to forgive my dad for all these
Yeah.
things,
Yeah.
because a lot of this shit is what led me to being an addict and an alcoholic.
Yeah.
It was resentment. And so as I'm talking about this, but I don't hate my father. Like I learned to forgive him. I had to forgive him, you know, because if I didn't, I would have continued on being an alcoholic and addict.
I might mess this up, but I was talking to Julian Alcaraz the other day, and he's one of the owners of Street Parking, and he shared this line with me that was pretty cool. He said something like, "When you're a boy, you need an apology from your dad. When you're a man, is when you understand why your dad was the way he was."
Hmm.
And it seems, and that's when I guess you get to the forgiveness stage, and I guess that's, yeah. At some point, it's like, hey, I no matter what they did to me, it's my shit now, and I got to deal with it. There's
Yeah.
no amount of sorries or like understanding. Like, shit, it happened to me and probably happened to him, and like, what am I gonna do to stop it, right?
Yeah. Well, my father would always talk about the abuse from his dad
Oh, he
and
would
his
tell you.
oh yeah, his dad and his older brother. He would always talk about the abuse. And he just never learned how to heal from that.
Yeah,
And one of the things that I've learned in recovery is that I can't help all the shit that, my father did to me or somebody else or all the mistreatment that I went through. But it is my responsibility as an adult to do my own healing and let the buck stop because I don't want to, ripple effect and push that on my kids. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to continue on, you know? And so it was much needed, I would say. I'm a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me on this, but I'm glad I went through all that, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have an understanding of 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 who I am today, you know.
so you get out of high school, and what do you do after that?
As soon as I get out of high school, man, I went straight to Chico State. I was
Oh,
done with swimming. I was like, fuck swimming. I don't want to swim no more, which is the biggest regret of my life.
and
I
that's
don't
the
want to
big
swim no
party
more.
school. That's the big party school up north. Chico State was like known as the big party school, like out in the
Yeah.
woods, like Northern California.
Yeah. And listen, I had never even been to Chico, visited or nothing. I just seen on the online, I seen that there was trees and there was good looking women. And I was
Yep.
like, I'm going there. That's where
Yep.
I'm going.
I think of
I
it as
didn't even
beer and hot chicks and
I didn't
like in clean air.
I didn't even know it was a party school. I just wanted to get the fuck out of Oakland. That's all
Yeah.
I wanted to do, you know? And when I got there, man, I was like, damn, where am I getting my hair cut at? That was the first thing I said. I was like, there ain't no fucking black barbers out here, man. I'm gonna get my hair cut, you
Yeah.
know? Chico, man, such a intricate part of my life. I love Chico. Shout out to everybody at Chico. My best friends to today are from, I met in school at Chico. So
And how long did you stay there? All 4 years? 5 years?
so here's a funny story. I went 2001, 2002. I left and came back because I couldn't afford to stay. So when I came back, I got a job. I was working at UPS, and I want to say around 2004. I remember walking. It was a UPS in Richmond. I was a part-time supervisor, and I remember I was walking this
You worked your
long.
way up to that position?
Hmm.
So you were a good
Yeah.
employee. You put your head down and worked.
I wouldn't say I was a good employee. I just knew how to talk. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Okay.
get away with shit.
Okay.
And I remember I was walking this long, gloomy fucking line to get to the hub, and it was raining, it was cold, and I'm seeing all these people walk past me, and everybody's looking sad and shit. And I said, you know what? I'm taking my ass back to Chico. Fuck this shit. And so I made arrangements to get back into school. And so in 2005, I went back to Chico State, and I was fresh 21 when I moved up there too.
The second time or the
Um,
first time?
Second time.
And then
And
and
when
you enrolled back in school.
I got back in school. But at that time, dog, like, and so I was working at UPS out there. I was a supervisor out there. But unfortunately, I had to get on the crackhead shift, is what I like to call it. So I started working. I would get up at 3:30 a.m., get to work at 4 a.m., get off at 9:30, and then try to go to class, you know. And that shit was not working at all. I mean, and I was going to the bars, in Chico, man, every day is a drinking day.
Right.
I would go to the bars Tuesday nights, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
Did you
do
get sloppy when you quit when you got out of high school and you stopped playing football
oh,
and swimming? Did you go from a cut up did you have a good body in high school?
I did.
Yeah.
And I blew up like crazy, dude. Because I was able to eat whatever I wanted. I mean, I went to Popeyes 3 days a week when I was in high school. You
And
know what
still
I'm
lean
saying?
as shit because you're in the yeah.
Yeah. And then, it wasn't until I started drinking is when the weight came on. And, I was eating shit. And when I was in Chico, like I said, man, I would go to the bars and literally I would go be on my way to work and I would stop at Jack in the Box, at 3:45 in the morning. I would get two jumbo jacks, two tacos.
Yep.
Them Jack in the Box tacos been around for years, you know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep.
And so I would just eat like shit, drink the big, tall rock star.
Yep.
And that cycle continued. And I ended up getting kicked out of school and I ended up blowing up to 330 pounds.
When you say holy shit, when you say you got kicked out of school, academic probation, and they cut you loose.
Yeah. So I got in January 2005 and I got kicked out by January 2006
And are
because
you
I just
pretty much
wasn't
all
making it.
alone at this point? You're not a mama's boy anymore. Like you're taking care of your own shit. You're working, you're paying your rent, you're going to school,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah, I'm just doing it all I mean, obviously, I'm still calling her asking her for some money here and there because
yeah,
I was trying to feed my drinking
right,
habit.
right.
I wasn't getting paid enough. I was getting paid just enough to pay my rent. That's it. Um, but yeah, no, like I would still call moms, ask her for, $100 here, some money there. But yeah, I was just drinking and partying. And then in 2008, I got back into school kicked out again.
Did you when you got kicked out of school, did you leave Chico or you stayed?
No, I stayed. I
And just
stayed.
kept working the UPS job. Hey,
Kept work.
I bet you there's a really strong correlation between people who work night shift and just getting into bad habits, getting
You
into
think so?
drugs. I mean, fuck, dude.
That makes sense.
It's like the vampire hours, right? And then if you want to participate during the day, you got to do some crazy shit.
Yeah. And when I worked at UPS, this is when I got into pain pills because a lot of the drivers had like Norcos and Percocets because of their aches and pains and shit. But that's not how I stumbled upon a pain pill. I stumbled upon pain pills in a really weird way. You ready for that story?
Yeah, please.
So I
How
fucking
old were you?
I was 23
Okay.
and I had got tonsillitis. So I went to the hospital and they prescribed me some antibiotics, penicillin, ibuprofen, and then this thing called Vicodin. I had no idea what pain pills were like that. You feel me? I didn't know anything about them. Okay. And I remember I took everything except the Vicodin. I just knew, if you got a sore throat and tonsillitis, whatever, strep throat, you always take penicillin. So that's what I
Yeah.
took. And I was fine, right? Well, 3 months later, I started feeling that itch in my throat again. I was like, oh shit, like, I hope I'm not getting it again. And then I remembered I had this bottle of Vicodin in my medicine cabinet. And I remember I was getting ready to walk to class. And I said, let me take this. And I remember I popped one of them and I'm walking from my apartment all the way to school. I was only 3 minutes away from school. And I started feeling good. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I was like, what is this? You know? So I sit down in class and I pop another one. And I was like, oh shit, you know? And man, after that, it was like, boom, I finished that bottle within a week. And then I started asking some of the people at UPS, for pain pills and anywhere I can get it, And then I got into Percocet and eventually got into Oxycontin, but that shit was way too expensive. And so I just stayed on Norcos and Tramadol and Percocets. And that cycle was vicious. I used to call it uh, like my social drug,
Yeah.
because I can just talk and I've always felt like I was the best person when I was on pain pills, especially when you mix it with, vodka. Um, and that was
Yeah.
the start of my addiction to drugs, really.
I in the 7th grade I took my first Vicodin and I remember taking it at school and I had something wrong with my ankle and doctors gave me Vicodin and I remember I took it and I was like, holy shit, this is the first time in my life I ever feel cool. Like
Hmm.
I'm cool. Like I'm chill. I'm
Yeah.
not freaking out. I'm like, holy fuck. And
Yeah.
then I didn't get addicted to it, but my older years, anytime I took Vicodin, I would take it recreationally and I always mixed with alcohol. Like there was no
Hmm.
other way to take it.
No
Like
other way.
one minimum one beer, one shot per one Vicodin, one shot, one
Yeah.
Vicodin, one shot. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy. And so you get addicted to those.
Quick.
What's the
Quick.
most you ever took in a day? Did you start nodding off and shit and
I knew how to fight it. So like I would experiment. Well, to answer your question, the most Norcos I ever took in a day was probably like 36. I think I took like
holy
36.
shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
had
took
like
like
a limit.
36.
Like if I took 8 in a 24-hour period, I was like, all right, Sevy, chill.
Yeah, no, I took like 36 in one
Oh
day. I
my
remember that.
god.
I remember that day. I remember I had 36 Norcos. I had like six Four Locos that day. I was out on
Hey,
the
you know that
river.
would kill someone if they didn't build tolerance to it, I bet. Like if you just gave that to a rando, that would fucking kill them.
Yeah, I should be dead for sure. I don't know. I don't know how I lived. That was by the grace of God for sure. Um, but yeah, to answer your question, I think that I experimented with like Xanax. That shit made me way too sleepy. Like I was like, man, I don't want to be fucking falling asleep. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed with I stayed in my lane with it. You feel me?
Yeah. And then so and how long did that go? Did you have kids at that point?
No, not
Oh.
yet.
And how long did that go on?
So at that time, you know,
Mhm,
in 2007 is when I started like working out because I
mhm.
got way too big,
Yeah, what did you
and
say? Over 300 pounds?
I was 330 pounds,
How tall are you?
6 feet.
Oh my god, dude, that's massive.
Yeah, and I was smoking a lot of Black and Milds. You know what those are?
The cigarettes?
The cigars with the plastic tip.
Yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah, so I was eating shitty, you know, like I literally would go to Taco Bell and be like, you know, no, I would literally go to like the In-N-Out, and then I'll be like, you know what, I'm still hungry. I want to go to Taco Bell. And I'll go to Taco Bell within the same, like I would just drive across the street to Taco Bell. Then I would go get a 40 ounce of like uh not Old English, but what is it? Coke 45.
Mickey's? Oh my
Mi-
god, that you're
I would get Mickey's Ice too, man. That was my favorite,
yeah,
actually.
Mickey's was my favorite too.
Yeah, I would get Mickey's, I would get In-N-Out, Taco Bell, Black and Milds, a pain pill, and I'll be set. But then I realize I'm getting way too big. I'm not attractive, you know, like, you know, but the whole time when you're in that zone, you don't see it. You feel me? Like you know it, but you just don't really care, you
Right,
know?
right.
And then I got to a point where I started caring. So I started working out, and I
Damn, dude,
remember
these are some black guy cigarettes. Holy shit.
so I would always smoke the wine flavor. Look at the
Did you
wine
ever
flavor.
smoke cloves?
No, I never
No.
smoked clove. No, I would smoke prime times though.
Hey, did you ever get into MDMA?
No, no,
No,
it wasn't my thing. I
no.
wasn't into hallucinogens and shit like that, man.
Okay.
I didn't want anything that wasn't where I couldn't control my own thoughts. You
Yeah,
know,
you'd
I
end up
wanted
like
to be.
P. Diddy if you did do too much MDMA.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, but I started working out, and you know,
Where? Where?
at this gym in Chico, it's called Emotion Fitness.
Okay, like just a regular gym with the
Yeah.
machines and some bench presses. Okay, mom and pop
Hmm.
joint. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That's In Motion Fitness is like Chico's 20, it's like their big gym out there. Uh
Sethy D, wine flavor was pretty good. Mm.
he knows what's up. And not the wood tip either. You got to get the plastic tip.
Why? What was wrong with the wood? Would it get soggy?
It would just taste like, you know, like I'm smoking like cardboard. I don't know. It
Okay.
was weird.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. But what was we talking about? What did you say?
Oh, so you started working out. You got 330 cigarettes and fast food, and you're like, all right, I'll just throw some working out in here.
I started working out.
And you're still doing the Vicodin, and you're still doing the Vicodins too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I started working out. I started losing a little bit of weight, you know, and then I upped the ante, and then one thing led to another. I got addicted to working out. But the thing that was holding me back was that at that time, what I thought was holding me back was just my eating. It wasn't the drinking. It wasn't the pill popping. It was my eating. So I was having a difficult time, like trying to eat healthy. And then one day I just said, fuck it, I'm about to just do this. And so I went on a really strict diet. I mean, strict, dude, like just chicken and broccoli every day. You know, like I didn't eat no fast food, and I dropped weight. I mean, all I went from was a smaller version of myself. I had loose skin. I didn't look healthy. You know what I mean? But I thought in my mind, I'm healthy. I
Yeah.
lost all this weight. So I went from 330 to about 179. And
Oh shit.
yeah, within about a year and a half. And I was also taking like laxatives. I was doing anything I could just to fucking be skinny. That was my goal. I just want to be
Right.
skinny. You know what I mean? And when people like see me, they'd be like, dang, dude, you look skinny. That was a compliment for me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even if somebody said, "Man, are you doing drugs or this and that?" That was a compliment for me because that let me
Yeah.
know that I've lost the weight
Right.
finally.
Right.
You know, and then at the gym, I surrounded myself with people who would work out, who would teach me things. You know, so then I started lifting heavy, and these same people will go out to the bars too. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh well, I
Is this
can
still in
drink."
Chico? Is this still in Chico, Rory?
Yeah, it's still in
Okay.
Chico.
Okay.
And so I see these people that I would work out with go to the bars and drink, and I'll be like, "Oh, I can do both." You know,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with it. So that's
Yep.
what I did. I just ate it's still unhealthy, I guess you can call it, my version of healthy, but it was unhealthy. I would, do pain pills and I would drink, and that was just my circle of life.
Hey, dude, in the early days, there was this CrossFit gym that I would go to like once a month. And there was a
Hmm.
dude there that everyone knows, and he was yoked out of his mind. And he was older. He was 40, and like I was 30. I was
Hmm.
like 35, and maybe he was 45. And this dude was so fucking yoked and he's so good at CrossFit. This is like in 2007. Dude, he always had a beer when he was done. Every time. He had a
Yeah,
beer every time. Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah.
It was it was
Well,
it was not, he just finished working out, went over to the fridge and always cracked a beer. It was like his reward.
yeah. I mean, I don't see. If you would ask me, I would have seen nothing wrong with it either. You know what I'm saying? It was a great way to feel yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my circle of life, man. And then 2014, 2012, I met my son's mother. I had knew her from years prior, but we got together, and then she got pregnant, and which was a blessing because she was going through remission. She was a cancer survivor at the time. And when we met, we hook up and we doing a do, and she finally got pregnant. And doctors had told her that she would never get pregnant because of all the chemo she went through.
Right.
So when she got pregnant, we was like, all right, we're having a baby. And I was 30 years old at the time. I was like, yeah, I'll have a baby. But
And
I
this
still
isn't
have,
this is still Chico.
this is Chico, but she lived in the Bay. So
Okay.
we were like long distance, we're in long distance, but traveling back and forth to see each other. And so 2014, when Ethan was born, I moved from Chico to the Bay and um, had my son. But I still carried this pain pill addiction in drinking. And I was super depressed, dude. I was like, man, I went, I was living in Chico, this bachelor life, doing my own thing, and I got to come back to the Bay Area, which I didn't want to live in, especially not Richmond. And, I got this son, I'm a new dad, I can't go out, I can't do this, I don't have anybody I know that has pain pills. And so I started drinking heavily, right? And then one day, as my son's mother was she had left somewhere, I went through her medicine drawer, and she had just the mother load of Norcos. I mean, she was prescribed a whole bunch of shit. And I found all of these bottles of
Like just stuff
Norcos.
and it was just shit she hadn't taken over the years that she was just
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Yeah, because she smoked weed. She was big into, holistic, and that's what eased her pain. She didn't like pain pills, but she was always prescribed, and she just put them in a drawer. So she had like at least 20 or 30 bottles, dude, filled, never touched.
Wow.
And so
Wow.
when I
That
found
do you
them,
remember that feeling? You must have been ecstatic. I I,
oh,
I went to this really rich chick's house one time. She said, "Hey, my parents are going out of town. Do you want to just come out and hang out with me for fucking 2 weeks at my parents' house? Mansion like in Atherton, you know?" And we
hmm,
get there and we go into her mom's bedroom and she opens this drawer and her mom just has cardboard box of samples of pain pills that like she must have
hmm,
gotten from her doctor. It was
yeah,
it was like we hit the mother load. Like I know that feeling. You're like, damn.
it was, it was, it
You're
was
like,
like, it was like
damn.
angels were singing, bruh. I
Yeah.
was like, Lord, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I
As
know
sick
that
as that
feeling. It's like
sounds.
getting a brand new bag of weed. You're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So I opened his drawer, man, and I was like, oh, I'll just take one or two, because I had been off them for a few months, right? And
Oh,
so I
you
was
did
like, oh,
get so wow. But you supplemented with drinking? So you didn't even know if you felt better. You were just still fucked up.
I was so fucked up. So I was like, I'll just take one or two. She'll never know. She's got all these bottles. She won't know.
Yeah.
And that one or two turned into five or six. That five or six turned into a whole bottle. That bottle turned into 20 bottles.
And you just took her whole supply.
I just took her whole supply. And I knew eventually she would find out, but
Yeah.
my thought process was like, well, she don't even look at this drawer anyways. She ain't gonna notice. She just gonna drop it in and push the drawer
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
And she found it. She found out. She was pissed, obviously, rightfully so.
Was she
And
pissed that you took it for her or that the father of her kid was a drug addict or both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, both. And she was like, "You need to get help." And so my stepmother, my father's ex-wife, my stepmother, I reached out to her about it, and so I started seeing a therapist. And when I started seeing a therapist, I was able to, stop pain pills because I actually forgot how it made me feel. That's what helped. But I was still drinking, and my drinking elevated. I was like, as long as I just drink wine, and
Yeah.
vodka,
Yeah.
I was good. And then I found this thing called CrossFit at the same time as all this was happening.
What year is
And
this?
2016,
Yeah.
2016.
And which gym was it?
It was called 510 CrossFit. It's in Richmond. They're actually called 510 Training Company now. They're not affiliated anymore.
Okay.
But 510 CrossFit, I seen it on a Groupon. I was like, I need to get back into working out. And I seen it on a Groupon. I was like, oh, you know what? I remember CrossFit, like, because they had a CrossFit gym at Emotion Fitness. They had an affiliate next to Emotion Fitness. And I remember just all these fucking people wearing headbands and fucking doing burpees. I was like, that's not working out. That's not lifting. So
Yeah.
my my idea of CrossFit was just I was like, this is some bullshit. All these synchro, everything. I was like,
Yeah.
I will never do that. I remember seeing that in
Yeah.
Chico.
Yeah.
And so when I got
You're like, hey,
to,
that's a girl's class. That's some jazzercise shit.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not wearing no headband. You know what
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
saying? And so when I seen CrossFit, it was 510 CrossFit. What intrigued me was it was 510. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what intrigued me. And so I was like, I'll check it out. And so I went.
What do you mean? Like just like like the name claimed a hood, and so it
Yeah,
resonated with
yeah,
you.
it
Okay.
resonated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
thought it was cool. So I was like, all right, I'll check it out. So I walked in
By yourself.
by myself.
Damn,
I
dude.
walked in, you feel me? I'm like, all right, maybe this will help me with everything I got going on here. You know what I mean? And I walked in and the class was actually maybe one or two white people, but it was mostly like Hispanic, Filipino, Black. It was a mix. I was like, okay, all
Yeah,
right,
the
well,
Filipinos hold CrossFit down in the Bay Area.
yeah. I was like, all
They're
right,
everywhere. Yeah.
and then I learned how to push jerk, and then they just threw me in a class. I mean, I learned to push jerk in like 2 or 3 minutes, and then it was like, all right, you're gonna take the class. And my first workout it was 100 hang cleans, and then starting at zero, every 2 minutes you had to do 5 burpees. And RX was like 135, and I didn't know what the fuck RX meant or nothing. I was like, I could lift 135. So I put 135 on the bar. And the coach was like, are you sure? This is your first day. I was like, yeah, man, I'm good.
What are
I
you
bench
weighing at the
press.
time?
I was like 220,
Okay, so still
220.
so the bar didn't look scary to you.
No, no. And I remember this old man was standing next to me, and this younger, like high school kid was on the other side. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat them in this workout. They've been doing this shit. They not ready for me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I, Savant, I dropped down and do those Well, first of all, I forgot that the burpee started at zero. So I picked up the bar first, and the coach was like, no, 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 no. Burpees first. I was like, oh, okay. All right. I did the burpees and I got to the bar
How
and
many
I
burpees
had
was it?
five,
Holy
five burpees.
shit.
And I was like, all right. I got to the bar and I never did a power clean or hang clean in my life. I'm just throwing it up and doing this, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, no, 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 get your elbows up. He's trying to coach me through it. And fuck, dude. I want to say within the first 4 minutes, I was dying.
Yes.
He
Those
was like, dude,
first five burpees were probably a wake-up call.
yeah. I was like, oh, this ain't no pump. And so I had to take he took the weight off and put 95 on. And
Yeah.
that shit still broke me down. I was the last person to finish and everybody's crowding around me clapping. I was like, what the fuck are y'all clapping at, dude? Like, I'm dying.
Yeah.
And, and so after that workout, that's when I got hooked. I was like, all
Were you
right.
sore as shit the next day?
Oh, I couldn't move.
Yeah.
I couldn't move. You know what I'm saying?
100 hang cleans with 95 with 5 burpees on the 2 minutes is nuts.
I had to do the Pythagorean theorem to get out the goddamn bed. That's how fucking in pain I was. I was like, what is this? I'm hurting in areas that, I need,
Yeah. Yeah.
So I got hooked, man. And then I got so hooked and so enthused about it. Um, and then I got into the whole diet stuff, and back then it was like big, everything was paleo. So I started doing paleo, and I got in my best shape, dude. I got down to like 200. I was strong,
Did you like the
I
gym
was,
too? Did you like the people? Like,
I
were you
love the
excited to go in
gym,
there? You were excited to go in
love the
there.
gym, love the
Yeah.
people, love the programming. Every day it was fun. I was feeling good, and I wasn't on pain pills. But I was still drinking.
And
I
where were you?
wasn't.
Did you get a job back at UPS in Richmond?
No, no, no. So I had been quit UPS. I was
Okay.
actually forced to resign. And I got a job with this company called Y Design in
Did you have?
Walnut
eh,
Creek.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's a different world.
Hmm.
And did you have to quit because of drug use? UPS?
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, came back on me. There was some things that happened I'm not proud of, but it is what it is. It was a learning experience, and so in 2010 is when I resigned.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I got with the company that I'm actually with now. And then I left this company and then moved to the Bay, and then I got with this different company, Y Design.
Are you still
And
with
it's
them?
Y Design?
Yeah.
No, I'm with
No.
a
Oh.
different company.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Is Wyatt Design? What is it? It's a architectural firm. What is it?
No, so it's well, they're actually called lumens.com now. And they sell like lighting, they showcase lighting, so lighting fixtures, anything that you need.
And that's the
Um,
business you're in now.
yeah,
Okay. And where
yeah.
is it based? The current one?
Virginia,
But they have a store in
it's
around.
online.
Oh,
It's
it's all
online.
online. Everything's online.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
That wow. So you work from home now?
Hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's a good life. Okay, so so you do your first workout there, you get addicted, and then and you love it, and then and so do you stop doing pills and drinking during that time?
I was still drinking. I was drinking like wine, and if I went out, I would drink, like vodka sodas, very mild. I was so into CrossFit, like I was just so intrigued. I
And your
literally
girlfriend
would.
was proud of you? You're the mother of your kid?
We still had our issues, right? But now I could think a little bit more clear,
Yeah.
that because I wasn't, doing pills. And she's seen that. And she knew that as long as I was working out, I was good. But we still were suffering through other issues, you know. And especially, man, when you're parents, and you're trying to figure things out with your kid, you don't always agree with everything. You were raised one way, she was raised the other way. You can't always come together. I mean, it was, we were pretty toxic, at that time, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, I started working out and I was just intrigued. I would literally watch that documentary, The Fittest on Earth, every single day. I wanted to be an athlete. I was so mesmerized by, how these guys trained and, the intensity. Um, that CrossFit that's the way I was going to go. Eventually, I'll be a coach one day. I was going to open up my own gym. I went all in, man.
And did you take your level 1?
No,
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 okay.
I didn't.
Have
Mm-mm.
you taken it up to this point?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
okay. Okay. So then what happens from there? So you have your run at 510, and then what happens from there?
So I'm doing good. 2016, all of 2017, and then August of 2017, I go to this bachelor party in Tahoe for my friend, and the last day we were there, we're getting ready to leave, and we were all hungover, from the whole weekend. One of the guys that was there, who's in the wedding party with me, he calls me from the other room. He says, "Hey, come to the room, man. I got something that will help you." I was like, "All right." So I go in this room, dude, and there's just full of people, that they had met. One of the guys was a blackjack dealer, and the blackjack dealer there was just this fucking mountain of cocaine sitting on the table. And the guy that called me, he said, "Hey man, just take a line. You'll be good to drive back." And I was like, all right, I never did cocaine before in my life, right? Um, or maybe I have. I can't remember. But I never did it to the extent of like just doing a whole line. Maybe I took a small bump before, but I never went in like this. And so they lined it up. It was like this long line. That one line, man, changed everything for me. It changed everything. It changed my whole direction. I got instantly hooked, like you wouldn't believe. And I remember getting in that one line. I ended up doing like 2, 3, 5, 6. And I remember I asked that guy if I could buy some from him. And so he gave me like, I don't even know how much it was. He gave me like this big old bag. And I had that bag. I drove back from Tahoe back to the Bay. And I had that bag for like 2 or 3 weeks until it ran out.
Holy shit.
And then after that,
Just instantly addicted.
instantly addicted. And then after that, I was at the time on, to get some extra money, and I was doing Lyft. I was driving for Lyft. And I remember meeting this guy on the ride, and he was a young guy, and we were just talking, and I was like, "Hey man, don't feel weird about this, but anybody got any coke?" He's like, "Oh yeah, man, the place that you just picked me up from, the restaurant." He's like, "The manager, he's got some." He's like, "I'll hook you up." So and then after that, me and that guy were inseparable.
You and
Um,
the manager of the restaurant.
and this restaurant was in Alameda, and CrossFit just went under. I stopped going. I lied to the coaches. I said, "Hey man, like, I just lost my job and this, and that." And when really I wanted to just drive Lyft and pick up coke, you know. And so 5 days a week, I would, go and see this guy in between rides and pick
Yeah.
up, drop people off, you know, park, snort, drop people off, park, snort. It was a vicious cycle. And then my son's mother knew something was going on. She thought I was cheating on her, but I wasn't. I was doing drugs. And that was 2017, the end of 2017. And here comes 2018. Um, March of 2018, I ended up doing a line from a dirty bill, and it had my face infected.
Oh
And
God.
and I had these like bumps on my face, and I was like, "What's going on?" And then the next day, it got even puffier, and then the next day, it came out to here. So I went to the hospital, and I was in the hospital for 5 days, and they couldn't figure out what was wrong, and they found cocaine in my system. And and I said that doesn't have anything to do with what's going on here. And so I ended up getting fixed. They gave me some steroids, boom, and literally right when I left, I called my dealer and said, "Hey, I need to come pick up."
Holy, like in the hospital parking lot. Like, okay,
Yes,
back in action. Damn.
yes,
Damn.
yeah. And that vicious cycle. And so then, like I said, my son's mother found out I was doing coke. She found baggies and in the car, and she was like, "I'm done with you," and this and that. And I said, "Good, I'm done with you." And so I went to go move in with my mom. And when I moved in with my mom and my stepfather, excuse me, um, my son's mother had called her, told her everything that happened, told her everything that I was doing. And I remember my mom called me into the room, and she was like, "What's going on?" I said, "Oh, she's mad. I just did a little coke, and she was like, "What do you mean a little bit?" I said, "Oh, it's just for fun." I was like, and I tried to dummy it down as much as I could. And I remember my mom, she was just laying in the bed. She wasn't feeling good. And she just looked at me and she said, "I don't know what you got going on, but you need to stop this shit. You know, I don't want to see you die. I don't want to see you go to prison. You need to stop." I was like, "I will." I was like, "I'm just having a rough time. It's all good." The next day, my mom was admitted in the hospital, That was a Monday. And then that Wednesday,
Admitted in the hospital for what?
because she was going through cancer, and they took her in because I think it was something going on with her heart. I don't remember
What kind of cancer?
specifically. Myeloma.
Okay, that's skin
Yeah.
cancer.
It's
What's
like a
myeloma?
skin, I think it's skin and blood. It was
Okay,
originally found in her lower back and it
okay,
spread throughout.
okay.
So that was a Monday. And then here comes Wednesday. I went to go see her, and she had like lost her marbles. She was like talking to herself. She was playing with her breakfast. Like
This
she
is
had
in the
like a
hospital.
little,
This is in the hospital.
yeah, this is in the hospital. She's got a breakfast like sausage in her hand, and she's just twirling it. And I was like, Mommy, what are you doing? And she was like, I'm losing it, Rory. I'm losing it. And then that Friday, we got a call that said she was in the ICU. And so we all rushed to the hospital. And then my whole family came, and we're sitting in the waiting room. And my son's mother and her mother came. And so we were there the whole day, and then finally
Do
the
you know at this
doctors,
point she's gonna die? Like, are you like
no,
shit? No, no.
no. But I'll tell you what I am going through. I'm going through withdrawals. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
because of my anxiety, I'm like, I need some Coke, I need something to drink, you know.
Because you've been at
Um,
the hospital all day.
well, that and just the feeling of just this anxiety about, what's going on with her, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Um, it was like a double whammy.
yeah.
And we're all there, and the doctor comes and he says she's doing good. Her vitals are stable. We're just going to monitor her breathing, but she's doing very well. And so everybody's like, good. So people started leaving. And then, my sister and her friends stayed. My stepfather went back home. I think he went to go shower. And then I said, hey, well, I'm just going to go down the street and get something to eat. Well, what I ended up doing
What
was actually
hospital is
going
this, by the way? Where is this at? What city?
this is Kaiser in Antioch.
Okay, okay. So you say you're gonna go down the street, sorry, to get something to eat.
Yeah, I said I was gonna get something to eat, but really I went to go drive to Alameda to meet up with my dealer.
Holy shit, that's a trek.
Yeah. So I drive from Antioch to Alameda, meet up
What
with
is
my
that? Like an
dealer.
hour?
No, it's like 40 minutes.
Okay.
Like 40 minutes. Damn near an hour, yeah. And so I'm talking to my dealer. I'm like, yeah, my mom's going through this, and blah blah blah. And I get my bag, and I remember, dude, I was sitting in the car in the parking lot. I'm looking over my shoulder, and I'm cutting up my lines, and I'm like, my mom she's gonna be fine, she's gonna be good. I remember I had my bottle of vodka on the seat, and I took a swig, and I'm chopping up my lines, and then I get a call from my sister, and she calls me, and she's like, "Where are you?" I said, "Oh, I'm just down the street." She's like, "You need to get back here right now. Mommy's not gonna make it." And I said, "What?" Like they just told us that she was fine. Get back here now, Rory. Get back here. I'm like, all right, be on my way. Boom, get off. I fucking snort my lines. I fucking haul ass from Alameda to Antioch. I literally got there in about 25 minutes.
So you're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah,
And are you high as a kite?
yes. And I get to the parking lot, and I kind of sit back, and I'm like, my mom's dead. She's gone.
You knew.
I knew. So I sat there for a second, chopped up some more lines, snorted them. I get to the hospital. I go upstairs. I start running down the hall. And I feel like this like wind gusted, past me. Like it was like strong. Like it wasn't like just from the fan. It felt like a soul had brushed past me. And I felt like, I'm not, I'm not I don't know any spirituality stuff like that, man, but maybe that was my mom. I get down the hall, go in the door. Most of my family had already come back because they heard the news. I see my uncle sitting on the wall. He looks at me, and he just puts his head down.
That's your mom's
Oh,
brother?
that was my aunt's husband.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I walk in the room, my uncle, my mom's brother, crying. I see my stepfather crying, and um, sorry, I see my mom with the mask off her face. She had like blood on her face, and she was just lifeless, you know. And I just sat next to her and I held her in and I said, "No, no, no." And I just held her hand and I just put it to my face, man. And I told her I loved her, and I just walked out of the room and I started punching the walls and screaming and crying, and oh man, it was a rough night. And so I ended up leaving, just going back in my car and just doing coke. And then I went home and I waited till 6 a.m. As soon as 6 a.m. hit, I went to the 7-Eleven and just bought a shit ton of alcohol and fucking drank it. And just passed out, woke up like at 2 or 3 the next day. And then I went it was a bad day, man. August 11th.
What year is this? What year is this, Rory?
It's 2018. So, and I can tell you right now, man, August 11th, 2018, 100%, August 11th, 2018 to December 31st, 2019, I did cocaine and drank every single day,
Wow.
every single day, and just living in a nightmare.
Were you trying to kill yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I had made up in my mind that, I wanted to see my mom again. And there's so much in between all that too, man, that we could talk for days about, but
Like you were
it was
thinking, like, hey, if I die, I get to see my.
yeah,
Damn, that's
yeah. But um, when you lose the person that you love most or that loved you most, you feel like you don't have anybody anymore, you know. And my mom was everything for me, man. So yeah,
so so
and
so what happened?
you would have thought that maybe, hey, Rory, man, like you fucking left and was going to do coke and drinking while your mom was on her last breaths.
Yeah.
And maybe you should do something about it. I felt guilty, about that night, man. I felt so guilty. Yeah. But now, being in recovery, one of the things that I had to do is forgive myself, because at the end of the day, bro, whether I was doing coke, drinking, or whether I was going to go get a fucking hot dog, my mother was going to die, you know?
Also, as a parent, like you have unconditional forgiveness. Like she doesn't hold anything against you. You know what I mean? Like all she cares about is that you're free from the addiction and free from the guilt. Just as a parent, you just want the best for your kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you make it? What happened on December 31st?
I realized that I need to get the fuck out of Antioch. I had met a new dealer that was in Antioch, and that situation was just bad. The people that I was buying from, the shit that I was seeing,
Someone was gonna get killed.
yeah, it was
R-
bad.
Rory, when I used to deal weed, and the anytime I got close to any of the white powder, I'd start seeing guns and shit and more violence and like crazy shit. So
Yeah.
I just stayed away from it. Was it like that? There was just more violence in that scene?
Well, this guy that I was getting it from, I couldn't have. I made a deal with him. Um, so he would give me like a free gram, if I helped him collect from people.
Oh god.
And so he would take me on rides and runs with him
Yeah.
to pretty much go shake people down, you feel me,
Right. Right.
to help collect. And so that's what I would do. You know, I was so out of my mind at that time. I didn't give a shit, you know. If I
Right.
could save money by not buying, then I'm gonna do it. And that's what I did.
Right. So shit was getting
Um,
hairball. You were just on coke and in conflict
yeah,
with people who with addicts.
yeah.
Hey,
And so
did the dealer use?
he did shrooms, man. I remember he did shrooms. He
Wow,
did a
what a
lot of
trip.
shrooms. And I tried that too, and I actually enjoyed doing mushrooms, surprisingly. But I just realized, man, December 31st, I said, I got to make a way to get out of Antioch. And my stepfather and I, we had our issues, you know, take it back to 2019. Um, 2 days after Mother's Day, I was driving drunk and I was actually on my way to Alameda. And I was driving through Pleasanton and I fell asleep at the road and I hit a tree. My car spun, I hit a tree, went to Santa Rita that night. That next day, I remember, I totaled the car. At that time, it was my stepfather's car that I was, making payments to him on, or I was going to buy it from him. And so he wanted me out. Um, it was just a lot. It was a lot, man. It was a lot going on, you know. And I blamed my mother's death. I used her death as a crutch for to get people to, you know, I wanted people to pat me on the back and be like, "It's okay, man. We know why you're doing coke. We get it. You just lost your mom." The reality is that I learned this through your recovery is that I was an addict and alcoholic way before she passed. I was an addict and alcoholic way before I even touched a pain pill or touched a line of coke or had a drink. You know what I mean? I was an addict and alcoholic before it all because I was dealing with unhealed trauma, from my childhood. And I've learned all that now, about me. And thank God for recovery, man. Because
Do
without
you
it, and
can I ask you, Rory, a question? When you say that you were dealing with trauma, unhealed trauma from when you were a kid, like when people say that, do you know that because you feel it and like you have self-awareness of it, or because someone told you that? Like how does someone know if they have that?
so one of the things I feel it and I know it.
You
One of
feel
the
it, you know
things
it. Okay.
one of the things I had to do in recovery is write down what's called a personal inventory. And what you do is you write down a list of people, places, institutions, people in places that caused you harm, that made you feel like shit. And they could be big or small, right? It could be, my father who physically abused me, who almost killed me, or it could be one of my bosses that said something wrong to me one day. I had to write down a list of things that made me feel like shit. I had to write down the names, I had to write down what they did and how it made me feel. At first, when I was given this assignment, like, oh, it's only like a couple of people, you know? But then as I started going through it, I fucking filled up a whole notepad and a half of the second one. And at the end of this assignment, you're supposed to write down, okay, well, what's your part in it, right? How did you contribute to this, right? And that goes back to what I was saying before. We can't help what people did to us, but and it's our responsibility as adults to, heal ourselves. So, for example, my father knocking me out, he did this. It made me feel sad, angry, scared. It caused anxiety. How can I play a part in that? Well, my part is, putting that on my son, or, letting that fester and allowing that to dictate, who I am today, continuing to talk about it, as if it happened yesterday. That's my part. So when I wrote down all these people and stuff, man, and I finally finished, it felt like I left a dead body in a cell and I was a new person. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying? And I would,
What's the mechanism for that? Why does that work to write it down and rehash it all?
because you actually have to take time to put in the work to do it. You actually have to hone in on it. And the thing that sucks about that assignment
Mhm.
is you have to go back into grave detail about some of the shit that you pushed under the rug for so many years.
Right.
Because it always comes back up in some way, shape, or form, you know, some way. It will always come back up. It's the same concept of, let's just say you and your wife, you know, uh, you did something to her or she did something to you. You said something wrong or whatever, and you both don't say anything about it. You just kind of let it go, right? Well, in the heat of a argument, months later, you bring it up,
Yeah.
right? You swept it
Yeah.
under the rug.
Yeah.
But guess what? It came back up, right? Because you didn't fucking deal with it then, you know? And that's what writing this personal inventory does. It enables you to fucking deal with it. It enables you to feel it. Because as addicts and alcoholics, man, that's the one thing that we don't like is feelings. We don't like
Oh,
feeling shit. You know what I'm saying? We like to push it away and numb it and desensitize it, you know?
oh,
Um,
it was the guy I was on yesterday. I had never even thought of it just because I guess because I'm older, but about people using young people when they go through heartbreak using social media to not feel the heartbreak.
yeah,
Girl broke up with us, we fucking go home and cry to our mom. I guess now motherfuckers just be like this,
yeah,
so they don't have to feel nothing.
right.
Yeah, that's
And,
crazy.
you know, and hey man, I'm sorry I got a little emotional just a minute ago. I usually don't get
Ah,
all
dude,
crying
no.
and shit, you know what I'm saying? I forgot we live. You ever thought about being a therapist, man? You in the wrong profession, brother. You have a very inviting spirit. I appreciate that. We might have to do this once a week, you know?
I guess start a small business. It's just the stories, the journeys people are on the whole time you're talking like, how the fuck is this guy still alive? But
Yeah.
but but what happened? So you get out of Antioch on December 31st, 2008. God, that's New Year's Eve. You weren't partying that day?
No. I remember drinking heavily and using. I didn't move to so I this is what
And
happened.
was that it? Was that the last day though before you go on? Was that the last day you've ever had a substance?
No, no, no,
No.
no, no.
Oh.
That was the day that I realized I need to do something. That was the day that I told myself I'm going to make a way to get the fuck out of here.
Okay.
That was the day that I came to this sense of reality. Um, I moved to Elk Grove, California, Sacramento, in February of 2020.
Okay. So pretty quickly.
When I moved here, my stepmother, she knew about everything that was happening and she wanted to help. So she invited me to, come live with her. And, shout out to Robin, man. She is a angel. Um, she saved my life. So when I moved here, 2 weeks later, or 2 or 3 weeks later, COVID hit. Right? So everything was shut down. Right? Which for me was actually perfect. I didn't want to be around anybody anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like I just wanted to like stay in my lane. So what I did was I wanted to be as far away from a Coke Connect as possible that I knew. I had already had one friend that lived here. Um, and so when I moved here, I by the way, I had gained weight from all the coke and drinking. I got up to 315 and just totally out of shape, you know. I remember I just started walking. So I would walk like 4 miles a day. That's what I
This is
started
like
doing
just during COVID.
during COVID.
Yeah.
I would just walk 4 miles a day. That's all I did, right? Now keep in mind, I went from doing CrossFit, you know, training, all that. When I was in Antioch, I forgot to mention this. I started going to Golden State CrossFit. That's where I met my coach Chog. You know, like he's my best friend till today. He's
Did you ever
always
do
been
a
there for me.
Roy? Did you ever do a line and then just go in and do a class?
Oh, dude. I would get to class and my dealer would finally call me back after the 70 times I had called him. He
Yeah.
would finally call me back. I would pull up in the parking lot and be like, all right, I gotta go. And I would go in and pick up. There was times in class where I was a closet drinker, so I would hide a bunch of bottles, you know, in my backpack. And so there was times when I would hide these
Your
bottles
gym bag, you'd hide it
in
in
my
your gym bag.
gym bag. I
Damn.
would get ready to pull out, you know, my equipment. I would get ready to pull out like my grips and shit, and all these shot bottles and tops would just fall out. And I would just fucking hurry up and put it
Like
back
little
in.
bottles or like fifths or
Like the little shot bottles, you know, little
yeah.
airplane hotel bottles.
Jesus criminy.
And so um
That's wild.
yeah, there was
But did you ever
many
just do a
times.
bump in the parking lot of a CrossFit gym and then go in and hit a wad?
Done a few lines and done that, yeah. Not a bump. I would do lines.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah. Wow. So
yeah,
you're just in the parking lot, everyone else is getting their fucking gym clothes on, and you're doing a line of cocaine. "Hi, I'm
yeah.
here."
Yep.
You never got scared your heart was gonna fucking pop?
I wasn't in my right mindset, man. Like I didn't care, you know.
Damn.
There wasn't a lot of things I cared about. I cared about my son. When I got the DUI and crashed my car, I didn't have a vehicle anymore. So I ended up having to Uber and BART everywhere and pick him up. And I still Ubered and BART to go pick up, you know, cocaine in Oakland.
Damn.
Um, until I met, and that's the reason why I met this dealer in Antioch, and so I wouldn't have to travel anymore. But it's a whole
Did you
nother
ever get
story.
busted by the Did you ever get busted by the cops with cocaine on you?
No,
God, thank
so
God. That would've fucked your shit up.
yeah, that was. I can honestly tell you that if I would have continued, I'd probably be in prison or dead for
Or
sure.
dead. Or dead. Yeah.
Yeah, one of those two was bound to happen. You know.
Any close calls? Did you ever have any close calls? You get pulled over and, like, in your glove box, you know there's a fucking CD and a fucking razor, and the guy's like, "Can I see your registration?" You're like, "Oh, fuck."
No, but there were nights when I was driving Lyft, I would
Yeah.
park, you know, I had my little parking spots, you know, around Oakland, you know,
Yeah.
around West Oakland and Lake Merritt that I would park where I knew, you know. And I remember one time I was chopping up and I had the light on and this cop pulls up right next to me and I boom and I turned my Lyft light thing on to pretend like I was waiting for a ride. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And so I use Lyft as like
Cover.
my cover,
Oh,
camouflage.
and then they would just wave at you, "What's up? Have a good night. Be safe," or some shit, and you're like,
They
"Yeah,
would
no
just drive
problem."
off. Yeah, they would just drive off. So that was my cover. But yeah, a lot of crazy stories, man. A lot of crazy stories. But yeah,
Okay,
I
so
moved.
sorry. So sorry. So you're back in Antioch, COVID hits, and oh, no, sorry, you're in Elk Grove, COVID hits, you're with your stepmom, and so you just start walking 4 miles a day at 300 pounds.
hmm And then, you know, and I was like drinking just wine. You know, I was trying to walk the straight and narrow. You know, and um, that didn't last. I would
You were
say
drinking box wine, red wine, white wine?
I was drinking red wine.
Red wine.
And so that didn't last. So then I ended up connecting with my old dealer,
Oh god.
going from the Uber to the Amtrak in Sacramento, getting on the Amtrak, going to Jack London, meeting up with him, picking up, getting back on, doing coke on the Amtrak, coming back home. Then I would call him and say, "Hey man, I'm gonna just pay you a little bit more money. Come drive out here and drop it off to me." So then I would meet him somewhere in Sacramento and pick up. And then I would stop. Then I'd be like, that's not what I came out here for, you know? So I would stop. So I would go like a month on, a month off, some shit like that. Well, what happened was July 20th, 2020 was my July 20th is my son's birthday. July 20th, 2020, I threw a birthday party for him here in Oak Grove.
Yeah.
And at the end of that birthday party, his mother and I didn't see eye to eye on something. And she said, well, you're never going to see him again. So she kept him from me for 6 months. I didn't see my son for 6 months.
Wow.
So my stepmother helped me, get legal representation to get custody of him. And so I won that battle. And so
Oh,
I
you
was able
did?
to, yeah, I was able to get visitation with him because all my drug use and everything came up in mediation. And, I came clean to the judge. I was like, yeah, I'm an addict. This is what happened. This is what I'm going. I didn't feel like I needed to lie. I was like, I'm just going
Right.
to be honest.
Yeah, that's not
You
going
know?
to help.
And so the judge granted me visitation every other weekend, Saturday 10 a.m. to Sunday at 5 p.m. And so I would do that. And so but part of the contingency was I needed to take AA,
The
do
judge said
random.
all this? The judge told
hmm
you all this? Okay.
Yeah, I had to do AA classes, and I had to report AA classes to the court and to my son's mother. I had to bring her copies that I was there. I had to do an anger management class. I had to do a parenting class, and I had to do random drug testing, right? And I was like, man, this is perfect because if I do random drug testing, I needed
Some accountability.
some accountability, something to control me. So, because I wasn't be able to do it on my own. And I said, this is perfect, right? So everything was good. And then I connected back with Chog at Golden State CrossFit. I was paying him to program for me. So I was doing workouts at home. I got a barbell. I bought an Echo bike. Life was going great, right? I wasn't drinking, wasn't using. I was doing AA. They even made me a leadership position. Being facilitating the meetings and so forth. So life was great. But when I was doing AA, really wasn't doing any steps. I didn't have a sponsor. I just said, I'm good on listening to people and doing all this, but I'm not doing these steps. Like, I don't need to do this shit. I'm just going to do CrossFit. That's going to help me. I'll come to the meetings and do everything else. Well, what happened was, man, I got to the second to last random drug test. And I remember feeling kind of antsy about it. And I was like, fuck, like after these drug tests are done, I'm in the clear. I don't have to do it no more. And I remember, Savon, man, I took that last drug test. I came home. I sat on my office chair and I'm like, all right, I'm good. I'm cured, right? Like, I don't want to drink. I don't want to use, right? Well, I had a friend say, hey, man, I'm going to go watch this UFC fight Saturday. Come meet me at this bar in downtown Sacramento. I was like, all right, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to drink. I don't want to
Yeah.
use. I go and meet up with him. Hadn't seen him in about a year or so. And he buys me a shot of Jameson, right? And I look at
Did
it.
he know? Did he know?
He knew. Yeah, he knew. He
There are
knew.
people like that.
And I picked it up. It was like a scene from a fucking movie, dog. I picked it up and I took a little sip and I took a shot. That one shot turned into two shots. Those two shots turned into drinks. I got hammered. And then the next day, I remember calling my dealer and I'm
Oh
going
God.
back to,
What
and
year
at
is this, Rory? What year is this?
this is 2021. And I called my dealer And at this time, I got my license back. I'm on a restricted license, right? So I got a car, you know, driving back and forth to pick up, doing the same thing, stopping in Antioch at the same store I used to go to. The shit just continues on. Well, I ended up, my stepmother ended up finding out, and she was like, "I'm gonna kick you out. That's it. I'm done." I said, "No, wait, please, you know, give me another chance." And so she said, "You got to go to rehab." I said, "All right." And then that was it. I went to rehab, and I said, you know, I sat in this fucking chair and I'm looking up, and they have the 12 steps on the wall on the wall. And I said, damn, dude, if I would have just got a sponsor and like attempted one of these steps, maybe I wouldn't be here. I just
Are they
went.
hard? Are the steps hard?
We have a saying, easy does it. You know, they're simple, they're plain. You just got to do them, right? And you have to, you know, you have to let go, you
Do
know?
you have them memorized?
Not memorize, no, not each
L-
one.
but like if Taylor says the fifth and ninth step changed my life a lot. He said that. Do you know what ones he's talking about? Like when you hear that?
Oh yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah,
so that's what I meant. Do you have memorized?
yes.
And then he says, if you go to a barber shop, you're bound to get a haircut. And he says, that scares the fuck out of me. I have nightmares of relapsing. You have that? You have any dreams where you're like you're doing a line and you wake up and you're like,
All the
oh,
time,
oh
all the time,
shit.
all the time. Really bad in the beginning. Um, the fourth step is what changed me for sure. The inventory.
And which one is that?
That's
Can
the
you?
inventory I was discussing before, where you
Oh,
write
right.
everything
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
That's the transition step. Um, but I needed a power greater than myself, you know.
Did did you
In
sleep at the Did you sleep at the rehab?
no, I did a outpatient program.
Okay, okay. Sorry. So go ahead. You need a power higher than yourself. Go on.
Yeah,
Had you
and
ever been
that
told that or thought that before? Or
well, I've had God in my life. I accepted Jesus Christ in my heart when I was in high school. I had obviously veered away, you know, but that is who I believe. That is my higher power. You know, I know I'm cussing like a sailor right now, but that's who I am. You know, but God is everything to me, man. You know, if it wasn't for God, I would not be here right now. You know, um, I give everything to Him, and that's my higher power. You have to let go, a power greater than yourself, because I try to control everything. You know, I try to make it on my own, and I did to a certain extent, but I needed something greater than me to move me. And so I went to this outpatient program, finished, and I remember I went back to AA. Well, actually, my counselor told me before I left this outpatient program, he said, "What are you going to do when you leave?" I said, "Well, I guess I'll go back to AA because, you know, they seem to have to, you know, to got it." And he was like, "Well, what are you going to do when you get to AA?" I said, "Well, I'm going to have to do these steps." He was like, "Rory, recovery is something you're going to have to exercise just like you do CrossFit. Recovery is something that you're going to have to exercise every single day for the rest of your life.
mm,
And if you don't, you will fall." And I said, okay. And I remember I stepped into my home group here in Sacramento, and I walked in, and I remember just feeling like shit. Like, damn, I was just here, you know, but and that was just that guilty, you know, all that guilt and shame. But in AA, man, we don't shoot our wounded. You know, there's a lot of people that go out and come back, and there's a lot of people that don't. There's a lot of people that go out and die. You know what I'm saying? There's people that stick with the program. And I've met my sponsor, who's, you know, he's like an uncle to me. And I started working the steps. And that's what's different. And then I found
and
CrossFit
this is
916.
2021. This is 4 years ago. Okay.
And then in March of 2022, I said, all right, I'm gonna start doing CrossFit again. So I found the gym that I coach at today, CrossFit 916 here in Elk Grove.
Oh.
And and then, you know, I befriended a coach who's no longer with us, unfortunately. He's passed on.
What
And
happened to him?
he passed away due to health complications.
Okay.
But he's the one that inspired me to coach. He said, "Dude, you'll be a good coach." And then my best friend Chog, who owns Golden State CrossFit, he inspired me to be a coach. And I was like, "Really? I can coach? You think I could be
That's
a coach?"
Chico? Chogs and Chico?
He's in Antioch.
And Antioch, sorry. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
hmm I said, and he told me I could be a good coach. And see, all these things, man, like all these, like coaching or, being a good father or being a good person, I never thought that I could do these things, right? And a lot of that is because that's the disease of addiction telling me that I can't. This is I'm only as good as this. So I said, yeah, I'm gonna be a coach, And so January, February 2023, I went to take my L1, you know. August 2023, I went to get my L2.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, now I coach. And see, here's the deal with me and coaching is it is
And you're
I do
coaching at 916?
yeah,
Okay.
I coach Wednesdays at 5 a.m. Um,
You said, "Here's the deal with me and coaching."
Coaching is parallel to what I do in recovery because I'm helping someone else, right? And when I help someone else, that helps me. It helps me get outside of myself
Mm.
because as an addict and alcoholic, I'm selfish, I'm self-centered, I'm all self, right? So I have to do stuff that's selfless. And that's what coaching does. I apply the same principles that I learned in recovery as I do in everyday life, and all of it has made me a better, father, a better partner, a better friend, a better coach, just a better human being altogether. And so without CrossFit, without recovery, I don't know where I would be today, man. You know,
Have you made it through all the steps?
not yet. No, I've
And what
I've
happens? Why
sent.
does it take so long? How long does
You
it take to
know,
get through all the steps?
everyone's different. Depends on you. I sandbagged that fourth step for a year and a half because when it came to writing about my father, I just couldn't. I couldn't. I couldn't go back into that trauma. So I literally sandbagged that fourth step. I get ready to write about them. I can write about anybody, everybody else. I get ready to write about them. I can't do it because I do not want to feel that trauma. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
back to the feeling shit again.
Yeah.
You know
Um,
what's crazy? I'm 53 years old. Like, I hear things in my life all the time, and I don't understand, and I kinda just, like, put them somewhere.
mhm.
And finally, at 53, I don't know why, maybe I've had this realization before, but it feels brand new. This week, I'm understanding because people would always say stuff like, I've heard my whole life that cliche, like, "Yeah, people do drugs to avoid feeling." And I'm like, "I don't really understand that." Like, I drank to, like, try to, like so I could talk to pussy. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I drank. Like, in high school, like, fucking I was scared to death of girls, but if I drank, maybe I might, like, say hi and make eye contact with someone. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
A
Well,
and maybe
well,
that's avoiding some sort of feeling too, right? Like
well. It's all fun until it isn't, right?
right.
And
But
then you
I've
start.
never been like, "Hey, I've never had the awareness to be like, 'Hey, I'm upset, so I'm gonna drink.'"
Right,
You know
right.
what I mean? Like, sometimes after a show, like a show like this, it'll be so intense, like, maybe, like, maybe I'll wanna eat or something, but, like, probably I'll just go outside and, like, walk around and, like, breathe and calm down. But, like, now the way you're saying it, like, I get it.
I think,
And
and
is that why people get obese too? Is that I never understood that too, like, you have a feeling, and so instead of feeling that, you just eat a Big Mac? That's the whole thing.
yeah. So it's not
It's
about
a
just.
physical sensation instead of an emotional sensation that you don't wanna feel?
It's what are you doing to cope? What is your coping mechanism? Is it a healthy coping
Coping,
mechanism or
yeah,
is it
yeah,
unhealthy? See,
yeah.
it's easy to identify drugs and alcohol as the worst,
Are
right?
all coping mechanisms bad? Um, is like what like, like, I remember, in college, there was this girl, and, like, every time I looked out the window, she was fucking out in their backyard doing sit-ups, and then after a year, I realized she was anorexic. She was either running or doing sit-ups. Is
It
that her
depends.
coping mechanism?
That's Probably, but I can't identify somebody else's struggles, right? Just like, and I hope you're listening, everybody listening, listening right now understands this, that you cannot identify somebody as an alcoholic or an addict. They have to self-identify, right? Like you can't look at someone, you know, who's drinking out of a paper bag and say, oh, that guy's an alcoholic. You have no idea what he is. You know what I'm saying? That person has to self-identify as an alcoholic or an addict to say, yes, I'm an alcoholic and addict. We can't do that to people. You know what I mean, you can, it's so cliche to, like, you know, there's so many different forms and variations of people who are alcoholics and addicts, right? There's the rich people who got it together, that are functioning, I guess you call it functioning alcoholics and addicts, you know, and you know, they pay their bills on time.
Yeah.
You know, they hang out with their kids, but they drink a lot or they drink to cope. There's so many different forms and variations, right? But that person, that individual has to self-identify. We cannot do that again, you know, on someone else.
So, like in a real simplistic sense, let's say like some like you're this vessel, right? And at the top of like a cup, and at the top are all your senses, your eyes, your ears, your nose, your mouth, and like you're looking out from the top of your cup. And then what you're saying is that some people, something like fucked up could have happened to someone, like their dad beat them or they got molested or whatever, their mom called them stupid, and
Hmm.
they start to feel really sad, and it starts percolating to the top, and like, and instead of like looking inside of yourself, you cope with it by grabbing alcohol in the outside world instead of being like, hey, looking down in your cup and be like, what the fuck is this noise coming up from the bottom?
Hmm.
Is that it? Is that the visual? I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I need a visual for it.
I think, well,
Do you
it
get what I'm
may,
saying? Did that make sense? Or
yeah, yeah. I think that if you are not dealing with your problems
yeah,
head on,
yeah,
and you are dealing with them by doing something else that is harmful to you, right? And only you can identify if it's harmful,
right.
right? Like you just mentioned the girl that does sit-ups and what does she do? Push-ups?
She would just do sit ups and running, and she was skinny. She
Running,
was hot as shit and skinny as shit, but
right?
I watched her turn into a fucking skeleton over a year.
Yeah, if that gets to a point where it's harmful,
Yeah,
right? Or if she
yeah,
still start, you know, self-inflicting pain on herself,
yeah.
then yeah, there's a problem. Then you need to deal with it in a different fashion, right? But talking to people, being amongst friends, and listen, I'm not going to say tell someone that you drinking a beer is bad. You know, you do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't, you know, judge you by any means. If drinking a beer with your friends and being amongst, if that's making you a better person, right? And it makes you feel better, then hey, that's on you, right? But if you start doing things to where you're not taking on the problem, feeling that problem, and you know, and taking it head on, if you're always going to sweep it under the fucking rug by doing something else, then yes, then you have a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's what I needed to hear. By doing something else.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with, you know, going for a run. You know, you just had a shit day, right? I need to go for a run. I need to sweat this thing out. There's nothing wrong
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
But at some point in time, man, you gotta fucking, you gotta, you know, take it by the bull's horns, man, and handle it, you know, when all said and done, you know, and that's the thing that I had to learn from myself for this alcoholic, is that I wasn't taking my problems head on. I just kept sweeping under the rug and hoping one day it would just all end, you know, and the shit just piled up, piled up, piled up.
When you were at the ranch and you were working out, there doing the memorial for your mom, did you go there with intention? Like, do you go there and like, okay, I have this thought and I'm gonna fucking exercise this demon right now, or this thought, or I'm gonna use this time. Like I was tripping on you the whole time. I'm like, I wonder what kind of mental process he's going through.
Yeah, you know, well, first of all, let me just say shout out to Dave Castro, man, because he's been my experience with him, my interaction with him has been nothing but positive.
Oh,
And
he's so cool. Isn't he a homie? Just lets you guys roll in,
yeah,
use the ranch. He's
yeah.
so
And
low maintenance as a friend. He's so awesome.
and for everybody that's listening to this right now, if you've had an experience with Dave Castro and
Yeah,
an interaction with him
yeah,
and it has been negative, right? You have a valid opinion about him. Your opinion is valid. But if you have never had an interaction with him and you've never talked to the man and never had an experience and you have opinions about him sitting from behind your fucking keyboard and you're typing shit on the internet, your fucking opinion doesn't matter. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? You
yeah,
never met the man. You don't know what
yeah,
kind of man he is.
yeah.
My experience with him has been nothing but solid. He's a solid dude, and I'm very grateful to call him a friend. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I hate when people get on the internet and they just talk shit about people. You don't even fucking know them. How do
Right.
you don't even know nothing about them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And you just called him and was like, "Hey, can I come with the homies and do a workout memorial my mom?" And he's just like, "Sure."
Yeah. Well, I wrote him,
Oh,
emailed him.
oh,
Yeah. And I'm super grateful. And the ranch for me as a CrossFitter is a special place. And I wish a lot of these young CrossFitters like, you know, had that same feeling or knew how special that place is. And so for me to be able to do my mother's memorial workout there, man, that's a it's more than what I can ask for. You know what I'm saying? But going back to your question about the mental state, you know, we drove, my team and I, we drove from Sacramento down there, right? We went to we could have did that workout in Sacramento, right? But you have to understand that, like, when I was in my addiction, I went to great lengths to get my bag of Coke and my bottle, right? I went to great lengths, you know, uh, to stay high, you know. So for me, driving from Sacramento to the ranch, right, to do this workout, that's nothing compared to what I used to do, right? So for me, that was like feeding my sobriety. You know what I'm saying? Is first of all being amongst a great group of healthy people that go to my gym. You know, shout out to everybody that they rolled with me, and to be able to do something that's meaningful, you know, and honorable, you know, for my mom, you know, her legacy, as opposed to prior fucking drinking and sulking and, you know, feeling sad and shit. We have, you know, I have more in life to look forward to now, man. And so that's all I want to do is be amongst positivity and good vibes.
and do you go in there with intention? Are you thinking about your mom the entire time?
I am nothing but happy thoughts.
Yeah,
Nothing. I don't even think about that night she passed away. I've dealt with that. I've forgiven myself for that. I've moved on from that, right? I think about nothing but happy thoughts. I do think about the pain she went through, right? And that's what gets me through the workout is what she had to go through, you know, and some of the things that she endured, you know, when she was, because, you know, my father wasn't he wasn't the greatest partner, I guess you can say, when I was first born. You know, it was a lot of pain that she went through, you know, physical abuse and with him, and you know, there's a lot of shit. So, you know, my mother was a strong woman, and that workout makes you feel like a black woman whooped your ass. You know what
yeah.
I'm saying? For real. You know, for everybody to know, the workout is 6 rounds, 28 wall balls, 19 deadlifts, 225 and 155, and 61 double unders. 6 rounds of that. And when you get to that fourth round, boy, it felt like you just got hit with a belt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there were some wounded people out there when they
Yeah,
were done. Yeah.
yeah.
And it was hot as shit and you did the wall balls outside.
Outside. And you know, the other thing I think about when I go to the ranch is like all the great athletes that have come through there, man. The Warriors, you know what I'm saying? The shit that I've seen on the documentary. I just can't believe I'm there, you know, doing that workout. You know, me, like I'm a nobody. I was literally in 2019 laying in my bed doing coke, drinking, passing out. And now I'm at the fucking ranch, doing this workout where so many great athletes have come through, some of my favorite great athletes, have come through and just killed it. And I'm able to, you know, just this, L2 coach from in Elk Grove, coming down there and being able to throw down, man. It's momentous for me,
When you look into the future, do you think you'll be a part of AA for the rest of your life?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, AA is what worked for me. Right? I'm not gonna preach, and we believe in attraction, not promotion. And I guess in a way I am promoting because I'm talking about it. And not supposed to be mentioning, but it's my anonymity. That's what worked for me.
Yeah.
There are other things out there. There are some people who just abstain from alcohol and drugs and they don't do any type of program and they stay sober, and shout out to them. But for me, I needed something that was going to work on my spirit, right? And that's what it took, for me to get down to the nitty gritty of this alcoholic and this addict, of what I was, suffering from. And I needed that, but like I said, that's what worked for me. There are many other things out there that you can do to help with, what you're struggling with, you know, but find something, goddamn it. You know what I mean? Just find something, you know.
Uh, um, what's your life like now? What's a typical day for you like now?
Oh man, well shoot, I got a 2-month-old now, so the day is it varies, you know what I'm saying? But um, I get up early or try to get up early, fucking start work, or I'll go to my garage and work out because I got equipment here. Um, make breakfast for the kids, for my family, and come back to my desk, sit, work. Um, fucking go to the gym after. It's very minimal. I'll go to AA, once or twice a week now because things have just been hectic with the newborn. Um, but my life is very minimal. It's great. I love it. My kids are my everything. I have a great partner. She's amazing. Um, yeah, man. I just can't I can't believe where I'm at today, and it's only by the grace of God, and if
Are you still in Elk Grove?
I am,
Yeah. Okay.
you know, and I just want everybody to know, man, if you're watching and listening, I hope that, you know, I, uh, I know this was long, but just know that if you are struggling with anything, just look at my story, man, and you can make it. You can fucking do it. You know what I'm saying? Get help, talk to somebody, you know. I got a lot of love for Fee Sagafi. I saw that podcast, and she poured her heart out about the things that she struggled with, excuse me. And that takes a lot of courage, man, to get up, live and say all those demons that she was battling. Because I've been there, tough. I had a whole plan. She was talking about what she had set up. Same thing. I had a whole plan set up, on the way I was going to go out, because I just didn't want to be here anymore. I was
You
done.
did. Was that after your mom's death?
Yeah.
And then now
Yeah.
you have a kid. So you went from being in the darkest place ever, hey, I'm getting off planet Earth, to fucking you have a kid.
Darkest place ever.
So
Yeah.
now you have like the most important reason to live and thrive every day.
Yeah. I do got one more story to share
Please,
before we
please,
cut
please,
out.
please. Yeah.
All right. So only now, well, 5 people know this story, and now you and the rest of everybody else don't know it. There was a lot of piece of shit moments in my addiction, but there was very specific times that I remember that were like turning points, right? And there was one day, it was a Friday, when it was payday for me, that was a big trigger. Why? Because I would get paid and I can go buy, right? And I remember I had really got a good check. It was like around four grand or something like that. And I remember I was like, I'm gonna take the day off early, So I called my dealer early in the morning. I said, hey, man, I'm going to get off early. Let's meet up. He's like, all right, well, come meet me at my house, right? And so I got off. I wasn't driving because I had lost my car, right? And I got in an Uber from my house to the BART, got on the BART, got off at MacArthur BART in Oakland, got in another Uber to his house, picked up, got back in an Uber, back to the BART, back to Antioch, back in an Uber, back home. I run out. I said, hey, I called my dealer again. Hey, I need to come meet you again.
You made that, but for people who don't know, that's a really involved journey. That's like basically the Bay Area. So you did that, and by the time you got home, you'd snorted all your coke
and run out, right? So this time I said, I called my dealer again. Now this is around 3 o'clock. I said, hey, man, I need to come pick up again. He was like, all right, come through. I was like, okay. So what do? I get in an Uber. I stop at 7-Eleven to get something to drink. I get my bottle. I get to the BART. I get all the way back to MacArthur BART. MacArthur BART in Oakland. Get back in an Uber, back to his house, back in an Uber to the BART, back to Antioch, back in an Uber, back home. I run out. So what do? I call him again. Now it's around 7-8 o'clock.
Holy shit.
So he's like, yeah, man, come meet me, but I'm over here now. So he's at the restaurant, Alameda. So I'm like, all right. So what do? I get back in an Uber. I go back to the store. I get a bigger bottle. And I got my gym backpack, right? So I put the bottle in my backpack, and I hadn't ate, right? I'm sweating from, all the drugs I did. I get on the BART. I go all the way to Fruitvale, right? If anybody knows where Fruitvale, that's where, yeah.
That's the end of the line, isn't it? That's the end of the line?
No, it's not the end of the line. No. So
maybe it was when I was a kid.
I get off at Fruitvale. I get in an Uber to the restaurant. I stay there for a second, snort, get back in an Uber, back to the BART, back to Antioch, back in an Uber, back home. It's like around 11 o'clock now.
Yeah.
The next day, I woke up. I was negative like $170 in my account.
Holy shit.
I had to pick up my son. I didn't know how I was going to get him. I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent, right? I felt like shit, I just remember sitting on my bed, man, crying, bawling, like, what am I doing with my life? How am I going to get out of this? So you asked me today, what do I do for my sobriety?
Yeah.
I would answer and tell you every fucking thing that I have to. Because at one point, man, I did any and everything I could to feed my addiction. I went to great lengths, that's just one small story. There's many stories, but I went to great lengths to feed my addiction. Now I got to do every fucking thing I can to feed my sobriety.
That's what a great parallel. What a great example. So you, just to go back, so you went through $4,000 in coke that day. Yeah, that's crazy. And I totally feel you on the story. Like, hey, if you'll do anything for drugs, you better be prepared to do anything to get off of drugs.
Everything. I had the opportunity, April of 2024. I went to San Diego and I went to Invictus. And super great gym. Shout out to Mama Karen and everybody in Invictus. And I walked up to Chandler Smith. If he's listening, man, I don't know if he remembers me, but I was super nervous. He's my favorite athlete. And I met him, and I was like stumbling my words. I was nervous. I remember just meeting him, and then Sam Dancer was there, and I met him, and he gave me a bracelets that were best friends for life. And that was in April. A couple months prior to that, my son's mother, Ethan's mother, passed away in February 2024.
Wow. What did she pass away from?
It was her heart. She was battling cancer for years, man. She was really sick.
Damn, dude, you've been through some shit.
And so that was in February. So in April that same year, when I went to Invictus, I remember going there and meeting all them and, working out. It was a great workout. That gym is incredible, for real. And I remember going to the beach later, man, and just being like, damn, man, like, you know, I've been through a lot, you know, but this is where I'm at. Like, I just met my favorite athlete, you know. I'm doing CrossFit, I'm coaching. I just have so many things to be grateful for, and being in the present, and, working out at the ranch, and, meeting you and getting on the show, man, like all these things are like a dream come true for me. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just hope people know that you can make it. Don't feel like you're alone. You can get through it. You know, people love you. Even when you don't love yourself, there's still somebody that loves you, and I love you. Anybody that's listening that you feel like you're not loved, I love you. You could do it. So,
What if someone can someone get off the train before they hit rock bottom?
absolutely.
They can. And for
Absolutely.
and for someone who does wanna do that, they're like, "Fuck, I really don't wanna make the whole fucking journey Rory did." What would be the first step? Is the first step to go to AA?
The first step is just admitting that you wanna make a change. That's the first step. Saying, "Fuck this. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired." That's it.
Mm.
That's the first step. Is just admitting that you're powerless.
And that you're powerless.
Yeah.
And what does that look like? Drop to one knee and just beg for help to the
But
heavens?
that's what you have to do. Whatever it takes. You have to get to a point where it's not any, like I said, man, like the second time when I went to AA, my arms were up in the air. I was like, all right, God, I I got to give it to you. Like, this is it. I I don't know what else to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, I need you. Please. I can't do this on my own, right? So, you have to admit. You have to admit that you're powerless.
Hey, dude, great meeting you. Great talking to you. Thanks for coming on and sharing the story. You're always welcome. If there's anything I can ever help you promote, talk about, you're doing things. I mean, damn, dude, I feel connected, and man, I'm so happy that our paths just happened to cross on that random day.
Yeah, man.
And Aromas, what a trip life is.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Yeah, great people everywhere. All right, buddy. Love you to death. Thanks for
All
sharing your
right.
story.
Right
And
on.
yep. And you have my number. Text me or call me anytime. Stay connected. Yep.
I got you. Thanks,
All
up.
right, dude. Yep. Have a
All
great
right.
day.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that last story is crazy. For anyone who's in the Bay Area who knows he made that journey 3 times in one day. Holy shit. I'll see if I can like kind of show it to you. This is the BART map. And these places are not like in that the reason why they call the Bay Area is you see this line up here, that's the Golden Gate Bridge right there. So this is San Francisco, and then this is basically Oakland, and we're separated by this little body of water. And they call it the Bay Area because it's all the towns around the San Francisco Bay, right? So this whole water area, this inlet here, is called the Bay. So this thing's huge. So I live Santa Cruz is like down here and even further. I'm like south of where this I don't you guys can see this arrow. It's like south this Daly City. I'm like south another, I don't know, 60 miles, 70 miles through windy road and mountains and shit. This fucking dude, Rory lived way out here past Concord. There's a town here called Antioch. It's over this big, huge hill. It's like way up here, like by where the phone number is on the show. Call the show. So he got on, went all this way, got off here, and then this is kind of like the heart of what we call the East Bay area: Oakland, Berkeley, Rockridge. It's nuts. It, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I used to ride as a little kid, I used to ride this. I lived in Pleasant Hill, and once a week, I would ride it over here to El Cerrito to see my dad as a little kid. And yet I remember I used to have to transfer at MacArthur at the Oakland station. That was when it wasn't dangerous for kids to little kid riding BART by myself. Uh, Jeff Bako, I have an old girlfriend. Listen, Jeff, you don't need to start any sentence with I have an old. We know, like, we do that. Anytime you talk, we just put that in front of the sentence. I have an old. You don't need to do that. You just be like, I have a girlfriend who settled in Walnut Creek. We'll know. Mr. Lange, thank you. I have a good one I sent you in the DMs. Thanks, dude. I've been so lacking in my looking at my DMs. I want to tell you something funny that happened last night. If I can, let me see if I can find it. I think it's funny. I think it's romantic. Oh yeah, look at I always have these weird courtships with people. Um this is movemax.official, and what's funny is, so I saw this post from them, and it's Malik, and he's barefoot, and he's working on his tomato garden. And it says, after traveling a lot, flights, hotel meetings, I'm taking it easy with a calm move max. And what's interesting is I didn't I don't know for like everything in my speculation. I have no one will tell me anything about what's going on over in New York. So I have to just completely speculate. I can't get any intel from anyone who's there. DeCoons won't tell me nothing. Dave won't tell me nothing. No one will tell me shit. I have friends in New York. I'm like, have you seen these fuckers around? Has anyone so I don't know. So I see this post. I actually see this post because I started following him because just because I want to report on the story on what's going on and who's going to buy CrossFit. So I see this story and I'm kind of excited that here's this dude. We have all these images of someone who's wealthy enough to buy CrossFit, and you don't picture them in a sun hat and shorts and a t-shirt, barefoot, working on their tomato garden. But I do that shit every day. That's like, I'm going to do that here in 15 minutes. I'm going to be like in my underwear in my garden barefoot with the sun hat on. And so I see this post and I'm like, so I make a post back just to like not even knowing that he made that post, but just to kind of flirt with him a little bit. Like if he follows my account, I don't even know if he follows my account. So I make this post and I just show, and I just to be like, oh, like, I just thought that was crazy cool that he has a tomato garden, right? I mean, shit. Like, what do I have in common with the dude who's gonna buy CrossFit? So I make this post, and I even choose the same like a song with the same title. He chose a song that said Wildflowers, so I chose a song that was titled Wildflowers. I'm barefoot and bareback and born tough this man. I make this and I just I put game recognize game and I tag them like, hey, look at my little tomato garden, you know. Well, look at those redwood trees in my yard. My yard's crazy. Who has redwood trees in their yard? I would fucking cut those down if I didn't think that's proof that I think that there's a God. Because I so want to cut them down, but I think probably you go to hell if you cut down a redwood tree. So I make this and I tag them. Well, within 5 minutes of me posting this, 10 people text me and they're like, "Hey dude, did you see Malik tagged you in a post?" And I hadn't even realized it. Um but if you look at his post, um down here at the bottom, tiny, it says Sevan Matosian. So I was flattered. I was like, "Oh, that's cool." Like obviously I want to have some relationship with with the new owner of CrossFit, if he is the new owner. But I'm taking it as like he's giving me also kind of like a nod, like, "Hey, dude, I did buy it," or "Hey, dude, I am trying to buy it," or "Hey, dude, I'm okay with what you're doing." Anyway, whatever. It's some sort of, um, like it's like me and him looked across the room and smiled at each other. So I like it. I'm flattered. Made me feel good. Um, Sevon's idea of flirting is like a junior high girl at a Christian camp. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're being flirtatious. Yeah, I'm 29 minutes away from a Costco. Gee. The enigma that is Jeff Bako. Jeff, what happened? You took a break from the show, didn't you, for like a year, and now you're back in hard? Yeah, so I was flirting back even before I knew that he had tagged me. I was like, "All right, motherfucker, you do tomatoes, I do tomatoes. Let's tomato up. Show you some tomatoes." So fun having a garden. I think from I don't know exactly where he lives, but I heard he lives out in the middle of nowhere. Oh, Christine Young, Bako must not be an executive member. Jeff Bako must not be an executive member at Costco. Are you saying because he has to wait until 10 a.m. when like the low level like there's tiered memberships, like executive members can go in early in the morning? No, but I'm fixing that today when I go in. I wish I a Rambler, I got so many cucumbers. My cucumbers aren't flourishing. I've probably only had like 3 this year. My zucchini are flourishing, but yesterday I did something so bad, I feel so guilty for. I picked a cucumber and I was gonna take it in the house and let the kids eat it, but it didn't make it. I ate it in the yard. Like, the douche move on my part. It was so good. Alright. It's Friday, July 11th. Yeah, I'm not cutting it down. The only way I would ever cut I have 6 of those redwoods in my house, and they're really the Santa Cruz is covered in redwood trees, but these specific redwood trees are, like, completely unique to the area. They don't shoot off side branches that run parallel to the ground. They don't shoot lateral branches. It's like they're weeping redwoods, and everyone who drives by or anyone I ever talk to is like who talks to me about them is like, "Holy shit, what are those?" Because the lateral ones are crazy. 1, because they turn into big sails and they could blow over and crush a house, and 2, they just make a crazy mess and make tons of shadows, so no sun gets to the property, but mine are just like toothpicks. Crazy. Uh, alright. I have to pee. I almost peed before that last Rory story. Sevi, do you like In-N-Out? I don't have any strong feelings about it. I think their french fries are stupid. Um, Other than that, like, I go to In-N-Out twice a year. I'm driving to LA or something with my kids or let me see what I got. Do I okay. There we go.
I'm Emily Carlson, and I'm 26, and I've been doing CrossFit regularly for about 4 years. For me, coming to CrossFit every day is important for several reasons. The mental fortitude it takes to come do a workout every day helps me in other aspects of my life. So I grew up a dancer. I always just danced, and then in my adult life I danced professionally for a couple years as well. I never had to work mentally at keeping myself accountable, staying in shape, because I was just expected to show up. And so when I wasn't dancing or after I retired, that was a difficult journey, because you are so used to being active your whole life, and now you have to figure out how you can do that on your own. That's one reason why I started CrossFit, and I personally love the aspect of coming to class, having a coach lead you through a warm-up, a workout, and everything, and actually helping you improve your technique. You know, having a good coach is important to me to help me learn what to do with my body, because that's just, like I said, not something I grew up on. I just knew how to dance, and that's it. So it's been super important for my fitness journey to stay in shape ever since I retired, and I love it.
Two Brain Business. What a great supporter of the channel. Vindicate, the new shirts are out. It's very interesting. Many surprising people have reached out already and been like, hey, how the fuck can I get one of these? People I didn't even know watched the podcast. This shirt is sick. This is definitely by far our best event shirt. Still not as good as the Jesus shirt, but behind the scenes 2025 colors are absolutely awesome. You can pre-order them now. I don't he says you won't get them by Travis says you won't get them by the time the games. I don't know. Pay double or some shit, or ask him to. We got to figure out a way you can get them. Look at this. I love this. It's just the little logo, BTS, and it's got the little fucking Sevon Buddha logo. Monk Sevi. Yeah, these are cool shirts. This is a Vindicate. You can pre-order now. One click. Send your loot. Yeah, you did good. Oh, it's the microphone being held by the lady. What's her name? Statue of Liberty. What does that say? What book is that? That book should say Biomax Peptides. Oh, that would be a great place for that. Statue of Liberty's all juiced up. Stevie, the new Road to the Games is out with DBE and Annika Greer. Okay. I tried to watch I watched Pedro's interview with Toby. I was tripping on Toby for some reason. I watched like 30 minutes of it. I couldn't figure that fucking guy out. I was tripping on him. Like there were things that he was saying. There were things that he was saying that were like contradictory to each other. But I'd never heard of the dude, so I'm guessing he's going to take 29th at the games. The only reason why I don't pick him as 30th is probably someone's going to pull out, but I'd never heard of him. So anyway, so I made it through 30 minutes of that, and I was tripping on the dude. I couldn't tell if the dude's hostile or like, I was tripping on him for some reason. Toby was cool, but lost points there at the end about Europe athletes. I didn't make it to the end. I listened to like 30 minutes. I couldn't tell if I think he has a pretty complex. I think he has a pretty rudimentary understanding of CrossFit, but I think he has a pretty complex upbringing. I mean, three siblings, 3-step siblings, lots of traveling. He's got some shit going on. I think that I don't know if Pedro eventually uncovered it. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like the games is just another competition, and yet he's a professional, and yet he like whenever I hear athletes say, I don't know what the game season is like, shut the fuck up, dude. It's coming. And if you're a professional, you don't care. You're just ready. And it's been going on 19 years straight. They even did it during COVID. Like I don't know. I'm not a big planner. Like I just assume like for me, like I don't watch football, but like I know the Super Bowl isn't at the same time of year that it was when I was a kid. And so I just assume things are always changing, but that it's going to happen. I don't know. There was just something kind of dismissive about, like, I was getting this feeling that he's super committed to CrossFit, but then dismissive about other parts of it. I don't know. I was tripping on it. It's like, hey, dude, just assume the games are going to happen every year. It's like, I would draw parallels like you don't want to love a girl until you find out she loves you first because you don't want to get hurt. It's like, go fuck yourself. Like I ain't fucking with that. But anyway, maybe he's a good guy. That was just for my first 3 minutes. Then I went over and listened to the girls interview fee, and I was really disappointed. I need to go back and listen to it before I commit to what I'm telling you is the truth, but I was getting this, and all of a sudden Fee went off on this whole fucking PFAA monologue and about all the shit Fikowski's done. And like and I thought she was alluding to the fact that Brent played some role in CrossFit sending out an email letting you know it's going to be hot outside and that they have other things in the work with CrossFit. And I'm pretty sure that Brent and PFAA had absolutely zero, 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 zero to do with that letter. Zero. And that they are not in talks with CrossFit. And he's talked about the transparency of PFAA. And all I think anytime anyone says that, or the openness or the ease of communication, is like, hey, dude, Brent and Pat aren't even honest with each other. They lied to each other right in front of our eyes about a meeting that Brent had with HQ on Pedro's podcast. It's like I don't know what I don't see anything that Fee has seen in that organization, in those 3 sheets of paper that live in Brent's drawer. And like I'm embarrassed for the athletes that somehow someone's excited because CrossFit sent out an email letting you know there's going to be an outdoor event in Albany and that it's going to be hot and you should heat acclimate. Like, dude, like if you need that, like you're fucked. Like, hey, let me tell you some other things. You should probably lift weights before you show up at the games too. Probably exercise a little bit. Get fit. It's going to be hard. I mean, it's I I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for the athlete. I'm embarrassed for the athlete. I was embarrassed for Fee. I had to I turned it off after a few minutes. I was just embarrassed. I got like a secondhand embarrassment. I'm like, this is, and is she like, does Fee actually think this? Did Fikowski tell her this? Is she actually alluding to the fact that PFA had anything to do with this? People are saying the stupidest shit too. They're like, it took for, like, they're complaining that they want change, and then they get this fucking retarded letter, and they're like, instead of being like, thank you, this is a good step, it's like, and Fee wasn't doing this, kudos to her, but they're like, other people will be like, someone had to die to get this change. It's like, oh god, we truly live in an idiocracy. Yeah, Sabrina Seymour, a coffee lid that says hot. Yeah, it's like, yeah, that's what it's like. Yeah, this part, they told us we have to acclimate to heights when I deployed to Afghanistan. That I get. And if someone else is in charge of you, like, they should be preparing you for like whatever mission they're going to send you on. God, I keep feeling like I have a hair stuck in my. Keep looking to my left because I feel like. Anyway, I didn't make it through very much of that. Um, the shirt pre-orders live. It's a dope shirt. It's a keeper. I think it was yesterday. Schweitzer had a good fucking monologue about the character transformation Dave's gone through from villain to hero. Thought that was awesome. Someone showed me that there's a guy who plays Spider-Man, Tom Holland, Tom Hardy, Tom Harden, Tom Harden, Is there a Tom Harden and a Tom Hardy? Tom Hardy, Tom Wallen? Fuck, I fucked myself. I need a Tom. There's a Tom Hardy actor, and there's a Tom. Is the other Tom? Anyway, Tom Holland, Tom Hardy, one of the guys play. It's crazy. Someone's like, hey, the guy who plays Spider-Man does CrossFit. I don't know which one it is. Tom Holland plays Spider-Man, and I saw him, and he's a white guy. But I thought the last 2 Spider-Mans I saw, he's a black dude. He was a kid who wore a trans backpack, and Spider-Man wore a trans backpack. There was a trans Spider-Man. I didn't even know that they did a white Spider-Man anymore. I didn't even know they did people. I thought that was just cartoons. Yeah, I don't believe his Cindy score. I don't believe his Cindy score. Anyway, I went to his account. The fucking dude has 60 million followers. What's his name again? Tom Holland? Is there a Tom Hardy? Hardy is Venom Holland. And oh, God, I don't want to get to this. I just need to remember Holland. You're thinking of the animated version. Yeah, of course I'm thinking of the fucking animated version. The fuck you think I'm talking about when I said cartoon? Oh, yeah. So then, Sarika, then someone told me he's got a girlfriend, and they sent me a link. I think Jenny sent me a link to his girlfriend's account. His girlfriend has like, it was a crazy number of Instagram followers. I was like, how? I can't even remember. I don't even remember the number. But it was I want to say it was over 100 million. I feel like I'm lying by saying that, but it was like yeah, Medaya. Yeah, 178 million. Yes. Oh yeah, Zendaya. That's her name. I'm like, how the fuck do I not know who Zendaya is? How many people in the United States have Instagram? Like, does half the country look at Instagram? Okay, let's say there's 200 million adults here who have a phone. I guess everyone has a phone. Let's say there's 300 million kids and adults who have phone. Do half of them look at Instagram every day? How the fuck could there be someone with 178 million followers and I've never seen them? Man, the world's like crazy. Hello? 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 I think the crank callers are calling again. Everyone knows Zendaya. You're out of your fucking mind. Hey, Maris, I bet you're the only person in the chat who knows Zendaya. I didn't even recognize her, let alone her name. Never heard of her. Thank God. Yeah. Yep. See? Anyone else heard of her? Oh, shit. Of course, Pat Land just heard of her. Jesus. Maris, you and Pat have more in common than I thought. Not surprised. Is Sydney Sweeney, is that the Cowboys girlfriend? The CrossFitter's girlfriend? What was his name? Kelly, Kim, Tom? What's Sweeney's name? The cowboy guy? He trains Ellie's name. I just know her as Smiley Ellie. She's always smiling. Sean Sweeney. Yeah. Is that Sean Sweeney? What was the other girl's name you guys said? I'm off on a tangent. Anyway, so I guess the Spider-Man dude. I guess there's a white Spider-Man named Tom Holland, and he said he did 27. I saw the video. He seemed like a cool dude. He said he did 27 rounds of Sydney is his best. There's no way. I need to see that. Sydney Sweeney is a young actress with huge boobs. Oh, right. Let's not dilly-dally. Oh. Someone told, I was hearing people talk the other day, and someone told me that the reason why Scarlett Johansson is so upset about getting old is because of young actresses like Sydney Sweeney. And this girl has 25. How the fuck do I not know these people? I bet you Hiller knows these people. Are these movie star people? Oh shit, her rack is ginormous. Is that her rack or her friend's rack? That's her friend's rack. They look like she looks like one of the AI girls. Just looks like an AI girl. Oh, is this the chick that the football guy Tom Hardy was fucking at some party recently? Someone said that the 50-year-old famous football quarterback was railing. She's good. Anyone but you is a good movie. You would hate it. She's good. What's Anyone But You? That's the name of the movie. Anyone But You. I started watching Sinner last night with the movie that Pool Boy told me was brilliant and Hiller told me was stupid. And I didn't I'm watching on Amazon. And which part did I get to? I think I only made it like 20 minutes in. Tom Brady. Holy shit. There's a Tom Brady, a Tom Hardy, and a Tom Holland. And all these dudes smash hot Hollywood Beaver. What a hey, did the Tom Brady guy smash this Kelly Sweeney chick? God, how crazy. Is this Sweeney chick a good actress? How crazy to just have a rack like that and monetize it. Oh, is this her with Paris Hilton? Oh, Paris Hilton must be 60 now. Always the best parties with the Queen of Fun. Holy shit, this girl on the left, look how far her eyes are apart from each other. Can you name any of these people in this photo, Andrew? I don't know. I want to see her tomato garden. I'm already over her Instagram. All right. Anything else you guys would like to talk about? I got nothing. I'm empty. I have no subjects. Oh, Tom Holland and Tom Hardy both do CrossFit. And Tom Brady does Noble. That's great. I saw that Meredith Root was somewhere made a post where she was on Taylor Self's side that basically, I don't know what she was saying. Was she saying that he shouldn't get kicked off the CAC for doing the peptides? I'm reading a private text thread that you're never supposed to share anything from, trying to figure out if there's anything I can share from it. I don't see I don't see Oh, I see. Is Pedro live right now? Where is that? What show is that? Pedro, where is that post? Is that on a live chat somewhere on YouTube? I'm going to show you something I'm going to show you something here real quick, and then I'm leaving. I'm trying to figure out how the fuck I'm Remember in the show I was talking with Rory just now, and I was talking to him about the bubble guy, the autistic bubble guy. Here he is. This is him at the beach. Look at him. God, my wife lets me go out in those pants. What the hell? Look at that's when he's making just the little bubbles, but he makes giant bubbles too. I'll see if I can look at that thing. Wow, that feels like yesterday to me, but that must have been 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, that's the autistic kid with the bubbles. There he is. There he is. There's my boy. What did you say that pissed me off the other day? God, you're one of those special people that can say stuff that pisses me off that I still love you. What did you say? You had a guest on the show. Who was your guest? It was you, 3 guys, and a guest. Was it Fee you had on? Did you have Fee on? It was hard to find your podcast too, by the way. Like I couldn't just type in the person's name in podcast and it popped up. And I couldn't type in Fluffy Duck. What's the name of your podcast? I always forget your real name too. I'm going to be in Albany and I have an idea for a video that I want you to be in with me as long as you're cool with nudity. Oh, yeah. I'll do anything with you. Oh, Ariel. It was Ariel. Yes. It was Ariel. Yeah. I used a, I'm not doing any I don't know. Yeah, I'll do a video with you. So I put product in my hair today. So my mustache is driving me crazy. I was eating apricots yesterday in the yard, and I was starting to get like hair in my mouth, and I didn't like it. Like my mustache. So this morning I just lubed that shit up because I don't want hair in my mouth. Hello. What's going on? The crank callers aren't like talking. I don't want to get rusty. I need to do at least one crank call. CK7 says, all right, show's over. Katie says, how's your games training going? Good. I'm big. I'm fucking big. I'm huge. I was actually thinking like maybe I've gotten too big. But we'll see. I got so I got, what the fuck is that? Why is this on my screen? I got so the story. So the story. So I was in LA, and this is a few months ago. I was in LA. I was in Newport Beach at the Biomax Peptides Beach Resort, and I was hanging out with the family. And I knew that Medfix was having a seminar at some doctor's house, I don't know if a seminar, but they were meeting at a doctor's house, right? And of course, it's my best friend, I guess, is owner of Medfix. And so I assumed, and I've always gone to all of their events and everything, so I assumed I was going to go. And so I and the doctor whose house it was at, and I know a lot of people who listen to the show were attending the event, and I hadn't been specifically invited to the event, but I mean, like, it would be weird. I wouldn't even ask for an invite because I would just think, of course I could go, no problem. Like, of course I can go. Everyone loves me. Emily loves me. Karen loves me. Greg loves me. Of course they would want me there. And then of course a bunch of the people who even know about Medfix are from this podcast. So I assume like, shit, of course I'm going to go. So but I didn't really want to go just for no other reason than the fact that I had to drive like 2 hours north, or it's probably like only like 40 miles from me, but I had to go through LA traffic. And But specifically, I knew Jethro was going to be there, and so I was like, "Fuck, this motherfucker's going to drive out from Long Island, and I'm bitching about driving 40 minutes. I need to go up there so I can just hang with him and just love on him, and we can just like bro out and giggle and have fun." So, um, and so, so 2 days before the event, the doctor's house that's having the event, who I had met earlier at another MetFix event, is like, "Oh, will you please come to my event? Will you please come to my event?" And I'm like, "Sure, of course I'll come to it. I'd love to come to it." And I was flattered that he invited me. So then about an hour later, I get this call back from him, and he says to me, "Hey, I can't remember if he said he spoke to Karin or to Emily, but same thing, same, different. And I get this call saying like, "Hey, you can't come." And I thought it was a joke. I'm like, that's like ridiculous. That would be like me saying my wife's taking a shit in the bathroom and she said I couldn't come in. Like, what are you talking about? Like, of course I can come in. Like, we don't have a door in our bathroom. What are you talking about? Like, of course I would think something was up. Like if my wife was in the bathroom taking shit and she said I couldn't come in, I'd be like, "Oh, she must be wrapping like my birthday present or Christmas presents or some shit in there." Right. Like I would just be like, that doesn't make any sense. So he said that to me and I was just like, wow, that's really fucking strange. And I go, "What do you mean I can't come?" He goes, "Oh, they said there's not enough room for you." It's not like it's a fucking movie theater and there's 12 seats. You know what I mean? It's a party at someone's house. So then I'm like, okay, something weird's going on. Emily has already been acting like just crazy weird at the previous event I went to. Just really standoffish. But I usually just let people just do what they want, and I'm like, okay, whatever that is, that's fine. Like it might I just assumed that at the end of the day, I'm like, it probably has nothing to do with me. She's probably overwhelmed because it's a big event. She had a big team in town, and I'm just misreading it. I always just think I'm misreading shit. So then that happens, and I'm kind of like, okay. So then when this event happened in Santa Cruz, Pete Shaw reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should come to the event." Now they're having a seminar in Santa Cruz on this Saturday at CrossFit Santa Cruz. MetFix is having a seminar there at Hollis Malloy's gym, and this one's like really close to my house, and like really really close. Like I go to that part of town once or twice a week. My kids take CrossFit kids at a gym right like 2 blocks from there. So I tell Pete, I'm like, I'm like, "Hey, dude, you don't like," and I don't remember exactly what I said to him, but for sure I was thinking in my head, like, "Hey, you don't have the authority to invite me." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I was already been invited by someone and then uninvited by someone. So, and it's like, and if it really is Greg's, like, Greg would never like, I like my friendship with Greg is like, if I could go to his house at 2 in the morning, like if let's say I was too drunk to drive and like I was just driving by his house, I could stop there and go inside and sleep on his couch. Like, and he wouldn't even trip. He would wake up in the morning. He wouldn't even be like, "What are you doing here?" He'd be like, "Oh, you want to go to breakfast?" Like it's just, uh, I just don't have like I could just go there anytime or he could come to my house anytime. There's no space. Like anyway, so Pete invited me to this thing, and I'm like, "Oh, thank you, but I got uninvited last time. I'm not like," and I'm thinking to myself, "You don't have the authority to invite me." And then about a week ago, I got this text message from Emily that was uh um basically inviting me to it. And just it was weird. It was a trip. Like I didn't it like skipped a step in the level of communication where we were at and was like, "Hey, you should come to the seminar. We're all on the same team pushing for the same good things to happen in life." You know what I mean? Like, uh, okay. I don't think she knows maybe how much I know about the shit that comes out of her mouth or the shit she says and does. So like maybe there's pools of separation that I'm holding that she's not, but whatever. Anyway, but I don't respond to it. I'm just like, okay, that was nice of her to invite me, but like I have no interest in going to it. Well, then yesterday I was partying with Greg. We were down at the beach and all the kids were there and we are hanging out. And he said, "Oh, hey, I have an up on Saturday at CrossFit Santa Cruz." And he said, it's a broken science up. And I think I have 2 days of information, and I'm going to try to pack into a 1 hour up. And I'm pretty excited about that because I've been listening to Greg work on this thing for years now. So I'm pretty just ripped off a hangnail. So I'm pretty excited about that. To go hear him speak. So I'm gonna go. So then I'm like, hey, what time is it at? And he said at 9 a.m. I was like, okay. So I'm pretty excited to go to that at 9 a.m. tomorrow. And my buddy Dale Saran's in town for it too. And my buddy Will. So I'm pretty excited. I'm bummed that I'm gonna miss Kill Taylor tomorrow because I'm sure it's gonna be crazy. Between talk about the sale, talk about I guess there's some rumblings that Taylor, Jesus. That Taylor Self might be getting kicked off the CAC. I mean, I guess there's just all sorts of it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be so fun. The CAC. So Taylor might just be fucking out of his mind tomorrow. It would be so fun. And I think that they might have some games tickets to give away, so that they might let people call in and do stupid pet tricks or some shit. So I am excited that I'm going to go there in the morning. I love going to see Greg speak, and I like it that it's going to be short, just like an hour. We can go. I'm sure we'll do something fun afterwards, like go out to a big breakfast or something. Taylor Self, there's more than rumblings. God, can you no chance they kick him off. Political suicide. He's got too many fans. Here's the thing. Fuck the fans. Everyone knows he's the most effective at what he does. It would be like trying to think. I'm trying to think. Let me see. Just imagine something is super duper effective at something, and yet you got rid of it because you didn't like something else about it that has nothing to do with what you like it for, what its utility is for. So Taylor has a great ability to present things at CAC meetings and make sure that Dave or Heather or whoever the other people are on the calls don't take over the call. Like Taylor can just be like, I heard this, and Taylor will bring anything to the CAC. Like if Brent were to call Taylor and be like, hey, can you talk about this? Taylor will talk about it. He doesn't give a fuck. He doesn't bring any of his bias to that. Like he's like, hey, the athletes want to make sure that they get fresh socks every single day from the games. This is what they want. And he'll just bring it, even if he thinks it's a stupid idea. Like he's there. He knows what he's been hired for, to be an advocate for the athletes. And if there wasn't a CAC meeting for more than 6 weeks or 2 months or 5 days or whatever, and Taylor was like, hey, we need to talk. I mean, he's the catalyst for so much, for all the movement. So, but I'm sure there's some fucking retards on the council. I think there's 28 people on the council be like, he told that girl to suck a big fat dick and take it in her brown Cheerio. And I don't want him on the CAC representing athlete. Like, dude, no one even knows. Like no one's thinking of him as some sort of representative for CrossFit. Hey, listen, I'm more concerned about the person who has the charity job at McDonald's with Down syndrome, who's wiping the tables. That I don't like. Because I used to work with developmentally disabled adults, and they'll put their fingers anywhere. Hygiene's like, give them a job mowing lawns or something. Not in the food industry. Sorry. I know. Wait, is there a word for if you have biases against disabled people? You know, they're sexist. Like if you think men can't have babies, you're sexist. Or if you think black people are good at basketball, you're racist. What's the one if you don't think disabled people should be working at McDonald's? There must be a word. Mr. Reeves, good morning. Did he actually say that, the brown butthole thing? Did Taylor and I just become? Oh yeah, he has, dude. He's got a million words for. He calls it the starfish, the Cheerio, the fucking. He's like, I think part of his journal entries at night is to come up with new words for the butthole. Like before he can sleep at night, he's got to come up with 3 new fucking slang terms for the fucking what's it, the Hershey Canal. The way he needs a creative tard phobia. It's like, and yeah, there's plenty of great jobs out there for disabled people. I just don't think the food industry is one of them. And any little kids. I've told you guys this a million times. I don't. If I come to your house for dinner and you're like, "Oh my God, Jenny made this," and I look over and Jenny's like a 6-year-old kid and it's like the salad, I'm like, I'm fucking out of here. I'll throw a temper tantrum. I will literally fucking just go outside. My wife will be like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm not hungry." It's like, "Well, come sit down at dinner with us." I'm like, "Nope." She's like, "All right." Like, I'm pissed. Oh, making fun of old people is what is it? Gerontophobic? Pat Lang, my wife makes all the dinner or she gets punished. Yeah, you put it in her starfish. Yeah, that's awesome. Kroger hires them to collect carts and bag groceries. Yeah, that's what I did when I was retarded. I mean 16. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, don't mess around with the food and the sanitary conditions. Yeah, just be cool. Just the adults make the food. I don't want to be like you showing me your 3 little kids made the chocolate chip cookies and I look at their hands right away because I know they were in there with the dough. I'm like, dude, I'd rather take a spoon and have a dollop of my own shit than eat the fucking cookies your little fucking gremlins cooked. I get it if they're your gremlins, it's okay. Like, I don't give a shit about my kids' stuff. I'm leaving soon to take Avi to Isabel. All right. What am I doing? My life. Why am I still on the air? Did I miss Scott's show? Did Scott have a show yesterday? 80526. That's good, Kenneth. I am a eugenist. I must kill everyone who does not look like me. That's good.
Hello?
No wonder people hate me. Hi.
Hi. I have to leave in like 5
Tranquilo, man.
What's up?
Tranquilo.
You tranquilo.
Do I have any shit I have to do today? What do I have like stuff?
Well, Michaela wanted to know if you're able to meet with Joseph and Ari, like with her, to go skate like around here.
Oh, what kids is
And
she
then
gonna bring?
maybe
What
go
kids is she gonna bring?
all of them. Maybe not Riley, but Rhett wanted to see only if the boys were gonna go.
Okay, I'll do some shit like that.
Okay, well, she just texted both of us, and you can just communicate with her, and then maybe go to Mijo's before junior. I can bring Avi there if you guys.
Oh yeah, I can't go to. I got fucked up yesterday. I got to be careful down there. I was in a bad place.
Just don't walk past Mijo's.
Yeah, I had to come home and nap yesterday. You worked out
You're on
already?
speaker. Hold on.
I heard the
Yeah,
weights coming in. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What'd you do?
I just did the bike for 10 minutes, a warm up, and then 15 thrusters on the minute with just the bar.
For how many minutes?
Sorry, 10 minutes.
Oh, you did 150 thrusters?
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
God, no wonder your ass
dying.
is like that. Yeah, fucking A. Good job. Keep that thing
I
going.
I kept saying, okay, the last 5, I'll just do 10. And I just didn't. I couldn't. I would have felt too ashamed.
That's glorious. All right. I love you. I'll finish up here soon. Will you make sure the radio's off in the garage? I feel like I hear bass.
Oh, that's Ari playing the drums.
Oh, that's fine then. Don't tell him stuff. That's fine.
Okay.
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 I love you. Bye.
No radio in the garage right now. Bye.
Christian. Ask her. She thinks you're too heavy. Is that how I should word it? Think I'm fat? You think I'm too big? All right. I hope I entertained you. I could probably, if I get out now, I could probably get a quick standy in the closet before she leaves. Look, it's always the Mexicans that give me the high ratings. It's a Jose Ramirez or Jose Del Torre. All right, I really want to do a show tonight. I miss you guys at night. Let's see, it's Friday. It's always a good excuse to have a CrossFit Games update show. And I can't do Kill Taylor tomorrow, but the boys will be on here tomorrow. It's going to be a crazy show. And I'll be at CrossFit Santa Cruz. But I'll see you guys soon. I'll let you know if I hear any updates about the sale. Love you guys. Bye-bye.